After several calls, Yunwu didn't react to them until someone from the Yunjiajin came and watched them anxiously. Without saying a word, Yunwu directly broke away from the embrace of Long Qingxia and went around his back. He saw that his back was bloody, but just now he talked to her as if nothing had happened. Yunwu's heart was aching again. He raised his hand, and a soft water element was released to cure the injury of Long Qingxi. The explosion in the distance finally ended, and the dust in the air kept falling, and finally a calm was restored. Everyone's eyes were on the center of the explosion just now. They saw that it had become a piece of ruins. They couldn't see the original appearance at all. They couldn't even find the figure of Shangguanshang in it. The life of the Beast Gate is afraid of the death of Shangguanshang. When everyone becomes their center, there will be only one way to die. And the people of the Cloud family army are eager to go to the official grave and die now, which makes Xiaomu not waste his life in vain. When it exploded, Shangguanshang was in it, and it was closest to Xiaomu. Could he survive? Was it a blow-up? Many people think so. The wound behind Long Qingxia slowly heals. At the end of the treatment, Yunwu just hears the comments of the people around him. Shangguanshang is still alive. Cloud Dance coldly said. The voice is extremely cold, as if from the abyss of hell. Clearly is not a loud word, but as if everyone's ears have sounded like, all people at this moment will look at the place where the clouds. Now Cloud Dance is the top master of Cloud family army. Since she said that, she must have felt something. I saw the people around listen to the words of Cloud Dance, have grasped the weapons in their hands, a face vigilant looking at the direction of the disappearance of Shangguanshang. They have blind support for Yunwu. What's more, Xiaomu has just died, and Long Qingxia is seriously injured. His anger at the Beast Gate has reached the extreme. Everyone wants to rush in now. Sure enough, not long after Yunwu finished talking, the ruins suddenly moved. Yunwu's eyes were gloomy, and other Yunjiajin were ready immediately. But after all, there were still people closer to the explosion center than they were. A group of people in black robes rushed to the direction of the ruins, and finished the ruins. As expected, they saw the Shangguan tomb under pressure. At this time, Shangguanshang was really not very good. There was a bright red mark on the corner of his mouth, and his clothes were already ragged. People close to him could clearly feel that his breath was very unstable, as if he might die at any time. At this time, it's just heart support. If he wants to start, he's afraid that he won't be able to walk for several rounds in the current Cloud Dance hand. However, Shangguanshang is used to being strict on weekdays, and other people dare not put forward anything, nor dare they tell the real injury of Shangguanshang, let alone care about it. Is that all? Cloud Dance in the mind of such a problem. Just hurt Shangguanshang, but with the life of Xiaomu? Xiaomu, why are you so stupid? Even if you don't, I will save you. Cloud Dance in the heart of sad thought, but all too late. Shangguanshang. Not far away, someone yelled angrily, but it was Shangguan's voice. At this time he was holding a long sword and pointed to Shangguanshang. Shangguanshang, you've done a lot of evil. Now it's killing my brother. I will not spare you. Shangguanshang almost couldn't stand, and it was all supported by the people around him secretly, but it didn't show up. It's up to you? I'm the traitor of the Beast Gate? You are the traitor. Traitor of the world. Why should I listen to you? Today, you stay here and don't want to leave again. I want you to pay for your brother after that. Shangguan was the first to rush up with a long sword. Shangguan, take me one. I want to avenge Xiaomu. Mu Xiaoming yelled in a hurry. His eyes were cold, and the summoning array flickered at his feet. Then he directly released his own summoning beast and followed it closely. And me. I'll take revenge on Xiaomu too. One more. I will kill Shangguanshang myself and me. One by one, the voices kept ringing, and they rushed to Shangguanshang. Yunwu's heart was full of anger. He held the sword tightly in his hand and rushed up like others. Just before he left, he made a special explanation to let people see the dragon pour out evil. Just now, in order to avoid the explosion and stop fighting again. There are many experts in the headquarters of the Beast Gate. At this time, the people brought by Long Qingxia are just a few partners with military power. It's really hard to deal with the headquarters. Fortunately, Shangguanshang has been seriously injured. Yunwu didn't feel his injury until the fight, so he wanted to revenge. But Shangguanzhong was lucky. All the members of the Yun family army were angry, shouting loudly, "Kill, rush to the beast gate. Don't let anyone go." But after all, the strength is limited. No matter how they play, they are always in a state of anxiety. Little dance. Shangguan. Look, Mu Xiaoming suddenly found something and pointed to a direction for everyone to see. People turned to see, only to find that it was such a huge army that was constantly approaching. And the leader of the army is Gao Yu. It's Gao Yu, it's Gao Yu. He's bringing people too. Shangguan yelled excitedly. Only a few of them knew about this action. It was a secret thing, but he didn't expect that Gao Yu would come at the last moment. In the twinkling of an eye, Gao Yu had already brought the Yanjiajin to Yunwu. With the group of Yanjiajin people behind him, looking at the surprise and excitement of the Yunwu people around him, he was a little embarrassed, scratched his head and laughed. The heavy atmosphere of Yunwu and others seemed to pour in a new blood, and the whole team had vitality and hope. They turned around and looked at the surrounding battlefield. Those who had been depressed because of repeated defeats began to fight back. At that moment, they were full of strength. "Why are you here? I asked you to attack the branch with all your strength. And did you tell Long Qingxie about my coming here?" Yunwu stepped forward, almost without saying a word of blame, but could not hide the joy in the tone. "With the Yanjiajin, we are sure to win." Some people around said, "Are excited." The original silence of everyone began to appear on the face of a smile. Gao Yu and others looked at each other, but they didn't speak. They just bowed their heads and laughed. The kind of upright and shy soldiers made Yunwu feel helpless for a while. They turned to look around. Everyone was very excited because of the arrival of Gao Yu and others. This undoubtedly adds to the fighting spirit of these people present. Gao Yu didn't stop. He immediately organized a platoon of soldiers and began to let the Yun family army divide into small teams to support everywhere and continue to fight with the Beast Gate. With the participation of the Cloud Army, the battle suddenly became smooth. At this time, all the members of the 10,000 Beast sect around him had begun to retreat, which made Shangguanzhong very angry. The whole body was full of black air and murderous air. The huge energy gathered the stones on the ground and shot them out. All of a sudden, the stones are like hidden weapons, flying in the direction of Yunwu and others. Yunwu was not in a hurry. He carried his fighting spirit all over his body, and countless stones hit him. Although the pain was unbearable, he was not seriously injured. He turned to look around him. Fortunately, everyone practiced and improved in Linghu, so that although he could not resist Shangguanzhong, he could protect himself. Among them, only a few people were hit by the stone of Shangguanzhong and suffered some injuries. After asking about everyone's injuries, it was determined that there was no problem. Yunwu put down her heart and rushed to Shangguanzhong with a knife. Her eyes were red with grief and indignation. She thought that Xiaomu had died miserably, which made her repress her anger for such a long time. Now, with the support of Yanjiajin, she can go to fight with Shangguanzhong at ease. Degao throws a sword flower in her hand. The other injuries on her body make Yunwu feel no pain in her arm. She is fighting with Shangguanzhong quickly. Shangguanzhong is seriously injured because of Xiaomu's self-explosion. At this time, she is reluctant to deal with Yunwu. Looking at the cloud dancing with red eyes and silver teeth biting, Long Qingxie frowned tightly, killed the people around him, leaped up and joined the fierce battle. The battle is still in the white heat. Shangguanzhong vomits blood, staggers a few steps and his face turns pale. He turns to look around him. His men are defeated by the attack of Yanjiajin. The men of Wanwoman, who were unable to fight Yunwu and others, are now beaten by Yanjiajin's men. This makes Shangguanzhong very angry. He coughed twice and coughed up blood again. Shangguanzhong knew that his current situation was urgent. He had no choice but to make a sudden effort to beat Yunwu in front of him and retreat behind him. "Shangguanzhong, where are you going?" Where would Yunwu give him the chance to escape? He jumped up and rushed forward. The black flame on the sword seemed to be murderous. With a strong wind, he quickly attacked the direction of Shangguanzhong's escape. Shangguan's black fighting spirit is very difficult to distinguish among people in black robes. So many people in black robes will largely ignore Shangguan's attack in such a chaotic battlefield. So much so that Shangguan can kill countless enemies in the field. Looking around, Nangong Yi and Qi Yi stand back to back and cautiously deal with the experts in the Beast Gate. They cooperate with each other, so that they can't get close to the experts in the Beast Gate. Situ Lan stabbed a black-robed man in the heart with his sword. Turning around, he saw that a man of Yin family army was surrounded by 4 or 5 black-robed men. So he rushed to Yin family army from the heavy encirclement, killed the people around him and rescued him. The Yin family army smiles at Situlan and nods to greet him. Then he continues to rush into the battle. Situlan takes a breath and looks down at his messy wound. He has no choice but to smile bitterly. Fortunately, there is no fatal wound. In the battle, Mu Xiaoming has been seizing the time to save the people on his side. He treats those who still hope to be saved one by one, and consumes his energy greatly. His face turns pale and wipes his sweat. Mu Xiaoming looked at the chaos around the battlefield, can't help sighing. It seems that this battle should be coming to an end. Under the attack of everyone, the strength of the black-robed people is shrinking a little bit. Finally, he was surrounded by the Yin family army and other people, formed a circle, and killed them one by one. For a moment, there were howls everywhere. Those lower-level minions had been basically killed, and only some higher-level people were still struggling to support. Cloud Dance vomited a breath, looked around, the corner of her mouth stirred up a faint smile. She turned her head, her eyes were full of murderous, looked at Shangguanzhong, murmured, "Xiaomu, don't worry, I will definitely give you revenge." "Master, we can't beat them." Retreat quickly. An elder approached Shangguanzhong and said anxiously that there was still blood left by the battle on his body. At this time, some of it had solidified on his body and sent out a disgusting smell of blood. Retreat? Shangguanzhong's vision is still fixed on Yunwu. If possible, he really wants to rush up and kill him. Yes, sect leader, now the situation is gone. It's better to go back. At least there are many of our experts there. Go back and conserve our energy. If you don't come back again, or you will die here today, but you won't have a chance. As soon as this man's painting was finished, several people who had been around should be with him. Lord, go back. Shangguanli also opened his mouth and said, as long as the border is opened, even if their army is under pressure, we can't get in. At that time, we have plenty of time to slowly accumulate strength. People around one after another to persuade Shangguanzhong in the end or sigh. When Shangguanzhong and others saw that the situation was gone, they could not care about the life and death of other minions. They gathered all the experts, beat back all the people in front of them, and ran to the teleport array at a high speed. Cloud Dance and others have not catch up. Shangguanzhong and others have turned into a white light, disappeared in front of everyone. The smoke of gunfire and the fire of war finally subsided in a short time. The exhausted people finally had time to have a good rest. Yunwu and others finally have a chance to relax and heal. This time, although he won a great victory, he suffered heavy losses. Several experts, such as Long Qingxia, were injured one after another, and some of his troops were killed by the attack of the Beast Gate. For Yunwu, she doesn't want anyone around her to die because of fighting with the Beast Gate, although it's impossible. He hastily tidied up the headquarters of the 10,000 Beast Gate, and then naturally stationed in it. The headquarters of the 10,000 Beast Gate is bigger than expected. The whole headquarters, accommodation, storage, training space is very wide. No wonder the beast can continue to transport fresh blood. Everyone quickly took care of themselves in the headquarters of the Beast Gate. For a moment, they began to bandage each other and recuperate, but the atmosphere was a little heavy. Although this time everyone took the risk to attack the headquarters of Wanwoman, Shangguanzhong and others were forced to leave here. But they lost a crucial partner. Xiaomu's death made the whole team heavy and murderous. And as we all know, it's also because of Xiaomu's death that everyone successfully won the Beast Gate. But in the end, they didn't catch Shangguanzhong and kill him. Instead, they let him escape smoothly. They couldn't bear it and didn't take revenge for Xiaomu. They all felt a huge stone in their heart. When everyone was almost finished in the headquarters of the Beast Gate, Yunwu finally gathered the leaders and cronies of the major forces in the main hall, ready to plan the next step. Well, let's discuss briefly how to proceed with the next thing. The main hall is very wide and huge. The leaders of various forces and their confidants are all accommodated. They all take their seats one after another and talk with each other cordially. During this period of time, they have no previous estrangement with each other. Although they come from different forces, they all seem to be a team and have a tacit understanding. Now the headquarters of the upper boundary is in our hands, which also shows that we have basically occupied the upper boundary. Cloud Dance said quietly, so everyone began not to speak, quietly waiting for Cloud Dance to speak. As soon as the words of occupying the upper boundary came out, although these people did not speak, their eyes were full of laughter. After such a long battle, they finally achieved remarkable results. But next, our task is not over. Although the headquarters has been occupied by us, the branches are still everywhere. If we don't solve all the branches, I'm afraid Shangguanzhong can build their own power in any branch, so. Yunwu looked at all of you and said solemnly, I'll give you 3 days to rest. 3 days later, I'll lead my own team to search for the remains of the beast gate in the upper boundary, and then kill them and attack them. That's what I'm asking you. Can we finish it? Yes, all the people present are full of fighting spirit. How can they not finish it? After all, even the largest upper bound headquarters has been defeated. How can they care about such a group of minions? After 3 days, everyone began to scatter and began to search around the upper boundary. For a moment, the whole upper world was filled with smoke, and the people of the Beast Gate began to flee, but they were all killed. People in the upper world are very happy, and some even shoot guns to celebrate the disappearance of the Beast Gate. A month later, the army gathered in the headquarters of the 10,000 Beast Gate one after another to report the situation of the upper boundary of Cloud Dance. Almost all the people had been killed, and the remains of the 10,000 Beast Gate no longer existed. Everyone can't help cheering for the news. And the headquarters in the mid-air border. The impregnable border protected the headquarters from being invaded by foreign forces. Shangguanzhong, Shangguanli and others all recuperated in the headquarters. The battle with Yunwu made them suffer a lot of injuries, and gave a lot of discount to the forces of Wanwoman. I don't know what happened to the upper bound. Shangguanzhong closed his eyes and sat down on his knees. He said calmly, as if the previous defeat had nothing to do with him. Shangguan drank tea, frowned and said, I think the upper boundary has become their territory now. I'm afraid they have killed all our remnants. No harm, no harm. Shangguanzhong continued to close his eyes and adjust his breath. We are in the border now. Even if they have great skills, they can't open our border and rush in anyway, so we can rest assured here. Shangguan Liwen said, but he didn't put down his heart. Instead, he sighed and said, I'm not worried about them coming in. I just think that all our achievements in the upper world have now fallen into the hands of Yunwu. Alas, it's a pity. Hearing what Shangguanli said, Shangguanzhong couldn't help laughing. He opened his eyes and looked up at Shangguanli. His eyes were full of confidence and said, What do you worry about? If we can dominate once, we can dominate for the second time. Why don't you believe that we have this ability? When Shangguanli heard this, he reluctantly let go of his worries. However, Rao was so worried about the situation. From today on, I will continue to shut down. Don't disturb me with anything. Everything in the headquarters will be left to you. Do you understand? Shangguan was stunned for a moment, and then became ecstatic. If Shangguanzhong could be closed smoothly, wouldn't they not have to worry? So he quickly agreed. Shangguanzhong ordered to start counting the hands of the whole Beast Gate. Now, almost all the men of the Beast Gate have been concentrated in the headquarters of the Beast Gate, but it seems that there should be few left. Within a day, the people under his command reported that there were less than half of the experts in the whole beast sect. And those minions who had no ability or realm were basically gone. On hearing this, Shangguanzhong said with a smile, It's not good. We don't need to build a strong army. The incompetent people here are no longer there. I believe that the team composed of these experts will be a force they can't afford. The corners of his mouth rose gradually. Shangguanzhong was in a good mood at this time, and he had never been so good. The whole upper boundary was smooth and calm. I said, can't they really get in the upper boundary? Shangguanli didn't believe it and asked again. Shangguanzhong was very helpless. Looking at the Shangguan nearby, he said, "Don't worry. Even if they want to fight, they have to fight for some time. Now the situation in Shangjia is so complicated that they don't have time to pay attention to our situation in Jiejia." Shangguanli turns his head and looks out. Is this border hanging in midair really safe? In the upper world, Yunwu and others have completely subdued the upper world, and the forces in various places have been stationed to take care of the branches of the myriad beasts. By the way, they are waiting for the myriad beasts who are still wandering outside and hiding a little bit of luck. Gradually, the whole upper boundary can no longer see the black robe of the beast gate, and the weather in the upper boundary becomes extremely sunny. I think it's time for us to attack the headquarters of Beast Gate. Yunwu looks at the upper boundary. The upper boundary is green and beautiful. There is a smile on her lips. So before long, Yunwu called another meeting. On the scene were the leaders of all forces and the captains of the trusted troops. After they all gathered together, they were so powerful that they filled the main hall of the Beast Gate. I think everyone has finished their task, right? Cloud Dance asked. The voice through the main hall spread to everyone's ears. Everyone nodded to show that they had finished the task. At this time, Yunwu finally let go, turned to see Long Qingqing and others, and then said, "Next, our task is very arduous. I hope you must cooperate with us. This time we must succeed." As soon as I heard that there was another mission, everyone's eyes began to light up. As we all know, the Beast Gate has not been completely destroyed. The main leaders are now hidden in the headquarters in the border. Everyone is very worried. If the Beast Gate is not destroyed, everyone will be in the shadow of the Beast Gate. Next we are going to attack the headquarters of the Beast Gate with all our strength. Cloud Dance finished saying, the bottom immediately boiling up. Everyone began to talk, very excited. But at this time, Shangguan suddenly frowned and interrupted Yunwu's words. "But Yunwu, you know we are short of a kind of natural force. Now without this natural force, how can we open the border?" The voice fell, and everyone was silent. As the Shangguan said, everyone thought of this problem and looked at Yunwu one after another. Although we lack a natural force. Cloud Dance way, looking at all the people around. But we so many people, so many kinds of power, together, can't, and the natural force is comparable? Everyone was stunned. The voice of Cloud Dance reverberated in the hall for a long time, making everyone's heart more excited. Yes, with so many people, so many forces and people's aspirations, how can there be problems that can't be solved? If we can't, let's make a strong attack. Cloud Dance raised the corner of his mouth and showed an evil smile. Standing on one side, Long Qingxia helplessly held his forehead and murmured, "Little guy, you are more and more like me now." Then he chuckled and shook his head. Everyone began to discuss eagerly how to attack the headquarters of the Beast Gate. Shangguan and several people gathered around the Cloud Dance. "Cloud Dance, are you sure this time?" Shangguan frowned and looked at Yunwu uncertainly. "You know, the boundary may not be as simple as you think. If you simply break the boundary, then the Beast Gate may not exist long ago." Cloud Dance bowed his head and thought for a while, but finally shook his head seriously and said, "No matter what, we have to try this time. You know, we can't give the Beast Gate a buffer, otherwise they will certainly come back." Shangguan's eyes are full of worry. He turns to look at the people around him. Nangong Yi and others are all frowning. Obviously, he is very worried about this attack. "Don't worry, I have my own plan." Yunwu patted Shangguan on the shoulder and said with confidence, "But we don't know about the situation in the border, and we don't know how many 10,000 beasts are in the whole border. If we go there rashly, I'm afraid we will lose a lot." Shangguan said. This time he was interrupted by Long Qingxia, and he said with a smile, "Don't worry, we haven't suffered any loss because of these problems. Don't worry, we will retreat all over." After that he pointed to the group of people who were discussing fiercely. "We have not only us but also them." Everyone sighed, silent. Just don't know this attack, in the end, can win. The time for the attack was soon fixed. The skyrocketing island, as the real base headquarters of the Beast Gate, is isolated in a separate space by a layer of boundary. This place, which used to symbolize the supreme rule, is now surrounded by a large army. The army is mighty, sitting on the back of the domesticated flying beast, seriously looking at the border. Today's army has been reborn. Shangjia has become its own territory. Like the human world, countless people hope to join the Cloud family army and gather the resources and strength of Shangjia to prepare more weapons and pills for them. Even flying beasts use flying beasts that are huge, the fastest and extremely suitable for combat. The black area covered a large area of territory, and the whole beast gate was wrapped up in all directions. The city is threatened by black clouds. Yunwu stood on Jinling's back, staring at the gate of the beast gate through the border without any emotion. He didn't know what he was thinking. Chief. When Gao Yu came back, he went directly to Yunwu. Cloud Dance had also didn't return of ask away. Preparation of how? Return to the leader, the order is over. All the officers and men were absent, totaling 53,000. According to the strength of all arrangements have been completed. Ready to attack, Gao Yu said seriously. And then he said the situation of each regiment again, which was sure. Yunwu listened carefully. Although he had known this for a long time, he still had to be more serious in the near battle. Until Gao Yu finished, Yunwu raised his eyes and said, "Okay, send someone to call for battle. I don't believe Shangguansong will hide in it." Yes, Gao Yu took the order to leave and went down immediately. Yunwu looks up at the base of Wanwoman coldly. The people who can clearly see that after the border on that floor, the people of the Beast Gate don't pay attention to them at all. Even though they are under the pressure of the army, they don't seem to be aware of them at all, cleaning and running errands every now and then. There are one or two people who are curious about the situation outside. They just look up and look at it carelessly. They don't even have the gatekeeper. Yunwu knows that all their confidence is on the border. Listen to the Beast Gate. Yunjiajin is here to challenge. Send someone out as soon as possible. Those who were sent out to fight went straight to the front and yelled at the gate of the base inside the border. The turtle of the Beast Gate, come out quickly. Tell your chief to come out and kneel down. All the people in the Beast Gate are listening. Although there was a border, it didn't affect the penetration of the sound. They all knew that the people inside could hear it clearly. Sure enough, as soon as the battle started, someone trotted in to look for someone. Cloud Dance in the eyes, but no reaction. Among the 10,000 Beast Gate bases, Shangguansong has been closed since he came back last time. It has been a long time since now, but he still hasn't come out. So at this time, the top and bottom of the Beast Gate were managed by Shangguanli. What did you say? How dare they shout? Shangguanli looked at the person who rushed in to report the situation outside. He couldn't help tightening his brow. There was always a sense of insecurity in his heart. Yes, it's hard to hear. Originally it was a good fight, but later it was a direct scolding, saying we didn't dare to go out. That's ridiculous. Shangguan slapped the table angrily, and then stood up to send troops. But just after he started, he suddenly thought of the previous battle. He worked hard to persuade Shangguansong to come back, and then immediately increased the defense of the border, which won the time to repair, and also in order not to let Yunwu fight. But now just because the other side said a few ugly words, he went out and threw himself into the net? In fact, the strength of the real headquarters of one human is not bad, but Yunwu is too strong now. They are not sure. The only possibility is to wait until Shangguansong is closed. Then everything will turn for the better. As long as Shangguansong can enter that realm. Thinking of this, Shangguanli sat down again and said to the reporter, "No matter what they scold, they are not allowed to open the border. Do you hear me?" "But the sect leader, they scolded me so badly." "So what?" Shangguan said in a cold voice. "Don't forget, there is a mechanism at the gate. The things in the mechanism can be free from the bondage of the border." As soon as the words came out, the reporter's eyes lit up and said, "I understand. Do it at once." After that, he ran away happily. Outside the border, the people of the Cloud family army called for a long time, but there was no movement. They all despised the Beast Gate. "Chief, it doesn't work. Let's fight directly." One of the soldiers said with a bitter smile, "I didn't expect that the people of the Beast Gate could bear it so much. They all scolded so cruelly, but they couldn't bear it. It's very patient. Originally, they thought that the people of the Beast Gate could not calm down. When it comes to life and death, They naturally don't make decisions easily. Cloud Dance Light said. Continue to send people up to challenge. Yes, Cloud Dance looked at the border. In fact, she also knew that there was no result, but she just wanted to know the strength of the Beast Gate. If they think they can deal with Yunwu, they may have come out long ago, but they haven't come out yet. They would rather endure dirty words. Therefore, it can only show one problem. One human thinks that they have no strength. Realizing this, a cold look appeared in Yunwu's eyes. Not sure. Cloud Dance murmured, as if to say to yourself, Xiaomu, wait for me to avenge you. After that, the Cloud Dance's palm turned, and the ancient martial arts sword appeared in the palm of the palm. A group of Cloud Dance's troops behind them also showed their weapons one after another. The other side of the battle is still going on, but Yunwu is not ready to wait. Since he can't scold people, he begins to attack Jiejia. Array preparation. At the command of Cloud Dance, the leader of another team, Long Qingxia, and several soldiers immediately responded. With a wave of Long Qingxia's palm, an array made in advance was directly swung out of his sleeve, and then it was infused with energy in midair, and the array instantly became bigger. The golden array stands before the border. Without saying a word, all the members of the Cloud family army immediately find the fighting spirit in their body and rush out from their palms to attack the array. For a moment, the fighting spirit of various colors kept flying, but all of them were flying towards the array. The energy of the array is more and more powerful. Finally, it comes together and gushes out from the other side of the array. It condenses the fighting spirit that has just been attracted into a powerful stream and smashes it towards the border. Boom dash, a loud bang broke out. The base of the Beast Gate trembled, but the border was not damaged at all. Cloud Dance frowned and continued to order. It's another powerful attack. The loud noise rings again, but it still has no effect. Cloud Dance, I advise you not to waste your efforts. If you don't have the heart to attack your partner, you will never be able to break the boundary of our Beast Gate. Sheng Guanli's voice came from the border, with a touch of arrogance. Then he saw his figure appeared in the sight of the crowd, looking at the clouds with a smile on his face, but his lips opened, and the cold voice gave the order. Ready. Attack simple 4 people. But only these 4 people let Cloud Dance's eyebrows twist up. The next moment, I saw that the Gate of Beasts was still in the open space. Suddenly, I didn't know how many strange things appeared. Cloud Dance eyebrows jump hastily said, all back. As soon as the voice fell, although the soldiers didn't know what happened, they quickly stepped back. Then I saw the strange things emitting black energy, extending black lines on the ground to connect the boundary, and devouring power like black holes. When the black hole appeared, the power of attacking the border was absorbed by the border. Ha ha ha, Cloud Dance. What a surprise! Do you really think that the boundary of our Beast Gate can be easily destroyed? Power? No force can destroy it. Cloud Dance is short of breath, but a dragon's evil figure suddenly flashes around. I don't know when it came. Little fellow, don't you still have some special things for breaking the border? Long Qingxia whispered in Cloud Dance's ear. But it's still the same. It's cheating. Although it's still the same, we can try to use the power gathered by the array to replace the one we lack. It's better than the present hope. We have to try anyway. At the end of Long Qingxia's words, Yunwu thought about it and thought it was very reasonable, so she immediately took out the things that had not been collected yet. The tears of fire, the drops of snow mountain, the light of ancient times and the heart of wind all appeared in front of the crowd. The people of Yun family army consciously divided to 2 sides and gave up the direction close to the border to Yunwu. Start. Dragon Qing Evil, a cold drink. See Cloud Dance directly throw those 4 things out. The 4 colors gathered in the air, and finally gathered together. At this time, Long Qingxia once again lost the previous array to the 4 colors. At the same time, everyone once again put their strength into the array. Only this time, the power gathered by the array did not attack the border, but mix with the 4 natural elements. With the new power, 4 colors become 5 colors, emitting a dazzling light, eyeing the border of the Beast Gate. Little guy, the sound of dragon's evil comes. Attack. Cloud Dance force ha. wholeheartedly control the colorful power. When the power accumulation to the peak, directly take a deep breath. In an instant, the power in the body burst out and directly beat those mixed forces towards the border. Boom dash, there was another big bang. The force hit the border, and it even made a mushroom cloud. The huge sound seemed to shake the whole upper world. The people of the Cloud family army stare at the front one by one. Their hands clenched show their excitement and expectation. There is no doubt that as soon as the border is broken, they will kill them immediately. His grandmothers. How heavy the smoke is, someone couldn't wait and spat. But just after he said this, the cloud dance in front of him suddenly contracted his pupils. The next moment, in the place blocked by the mushroom cloud, as if I saw something terrible, I immediately ordered, "Back. All back away, retreat." Yes. All back. There's something in the smoke cloud dance cheers coldly. What are you afraid of? Hit the motherfucker. Kill it, they said one after another, but before they could say more, they could only stare back. Mushroom cloud gradually dispersed, but breaking through the mushroom cloud is overwhelming into the rain like black arrows. They come through the border without destroying it. The attack power of the arrow is not strong, but it has strong corrosiveness. Once it falls on the body, it will be very troublesome. The armor on the body and even the weapons on the hand will be corroded. Lao Tzu's sword. Brothers, don't stop this thing with weapons, said a man from Flint, who was the first to corrode weapons. As soon as the words came out, the others quickly put away their weapons and released their fighting spirit to deal with the black arrows. The arrow fell down like it had no end. The cloud danced and looked gloomy, especially when he saw that the border had not changed after the attack. Compared with these embarrassed people, after all, the Yenjiajin people are better. After special training, even if they can only use fighting spirit with bare hands, they are no worse in fighting. For a moment, fighting spirit of various colors is flying everywhere, dazzling. Little stink. How about your fire? Can we deal with these things? Hongling sighed, embarrassed to avoid the black arrow. At the same time, to the distance of the small stink, called. As a cannibal, he doesn't dare to show himself at this time. He's joking. His big body is a huge target at this time, okay? Pure arthritis can burn them directly, but it can't be used in large areas. Small stink directly incarnates itself. The huge phoenix is wrapped by pure yang yan, blocking in front of the team, so that the people behind him will not be attacked by black arrows. A pair of beast eyes keep sweeping in the place they can't block. So many people, I can't protect them at all. I can only protect our direction. Little stink. Let's join hands, by Schwer's voice came. At this time, she was in a ghost state, and those black arrows could not hurt her. Since these things can cross the border, let's let him go back and fight his own people. I'll control the wind, you and your friends, protect the team. As soon as the words came out, everyone nodded. The division of tasks is clear. By Schwer flies up impolitely. She stands on the top with almost transparent body. She spreads her hands and lets the black arrow go through her body, but she can't hurt herself. Golden phoenix wings waving, a pair of animal eyes bright frightening. A loud voice of the phoenix, as if calling his partner. By Schwer raised her hands lightly, and suddenly a strong wind blew between heaven and earth. The Huhu wind direction added a lot of momentum to the battle, and became more and more intense. And the wind blew those black arrows to the border. But a bold and unconstrained man cried out in a rough voice, "This group of young rabbits, this is how to deal with them." "Come on, Schwer. More wind," I said, "Master Yaohuang. Don't worry about us. We all have some skills." The behavior of the two contract beasts instantly aroused people's confidence. Those black arrows constantly attacked the border of the 10,000 Beast Gate. When the 10,000 Beast Gate was unprepared, they all shot on the buildings of their own base. But before long, the number of black arrows gradually decreased, and Bai Xuan's attack could only stop. This border is a bit strange. Long Qingxia looked at the soldiers who had some damage to their armor and weapons, and could not help frowning. I also feel as if these arrows are weapons generated by the border. Cloud Dance frowned and said. Long Qingxia's eyes were fixed on Jiejie, thinking carefully for a long time, until those arrows finally disappeared. Long Qingxia seemed to catch something in an instant. "I know, Dragon Qingxia suddenly said. These black arrows are formed by our power to attack the border. That's why we stop uncontrollably. If we keep attacking the border, these arrows will appear again. This words a cloud dance suddenly eyes a bright. I know how to do. Then, without waiting for the dragon to say more, Yunwu flew up into the air and spread his command to tens of thousands of people. All of you, all personnel to the northeast, join forces to attack the border Snow White. Once the black arrow is generated, you immediately control the wind direction. Little Stink, you are responsible for protecting everyone. Make use of pure yang to make a good barrier. Blue you small 9 westing you from that. As soon as the order was given, tens of thousands of people immediately gave a loud yes. And then they moved quickly. The team of tens of thousands of people shrank toward the northeast in this instant. What are they doing? The man in the Beast Gate looked at the action of the Cloud family army doubtfully. Is it going to retreat? Previously, because of Bai Shuer's behavior, the people of the Beast Gate also gathered a large number of troops to the gate to guard against the black arrows that were beaten back at any time. At this time, seeing their action, they didn't understand immediately. Not so much. You see, they seem very excited one by one. The people of the Beast Gate are talking about it. Even though they feel a lot of pressure in the face of tens of thousands of troops, they feel relieved at the thought that they can't break the border. However, this relief soon disappeared in the panic. Kill me dash. What the hell? See if I don't chop you to death. The tortoise grandson of the Beast Gate. I only know how to hide behind the border as a turtle. You have the ability to come out. Tens of thousands of people rushed to the border together. All the people in the northeast stood at any position where they could attack. They stopped within 100 meters of the border, put away their swords one by one, aroused fighting in their bodies, and smashed one attack after another towards the border. Some people who can only attack close-up even rush to the front, carry their fighting spirit to make armor around them, and smash their weapons towards the border. Lao Zi is standing here. You have the ability to fight. Break the barrier. Look, I have to smash it for you. A vulgar call and curse, mixed with the boom sound of attacking on the border, was constantly introduced into the base, and the people of the Beast Gate were directly stunned. What are you waiting for? They're all coming. Go and control the border for me in the base. The head of the 10,000 Beast sect roared angrily. As soon as the words came out, the talent of the Beast Gate finally responded, and someone quickly went to a certain position in the border to control it. But 2 times, the attack absorbed by the border is transformed into a black arrow again. What are you doing? Go and attack me. Don't let them really call in. The elder roared again, and the others quickly agreed yes, and left at once. Outside the border, as soon as the black arrows appeared, the people who had been fighting close at the border immediately withdrew. It's coming, it's coming. Here comes the arrow. This is a very dangerous thing. But the words of the soldiers are full of excitement. Bai Shuer had been waiting for a long time. As soon as she saw the black arrow appeared, she immediately yelled at Xiao Smelly. Protect them. A loud voice of Fengming sounded up to the sky, as if in response to her general, followed by a small stinky publicity voice. Ha ha ha, don't worry. Leave it to me. The blazing pure yang suddenly swept out, forming a wide barrier in front of the Cloud army, which carefully protected the people. The burning blood red, in sharp contrast to the black arrow. The scum of the Beast Gate. I'll see what you can do. White Snow Sun. A Jiao drink, arms suddenly spread out, with her action. Just quiet soon. The sky and earth again. Strong wind. The Hohu wind is like a fierce ancient beast, which wants to devour everything. The strong wind element is flying wildly in the air. Before the black arrow reaches the little stink, it is hit by the strong wind element and changes its direction. A black arrow in the wind changed direction. Whoosh, whoosh toward the border. The arrows with the power to break through the border directly broke through the border and shot at the beastmen who later appeared in front of the base gate. Pushed by the powerful wind element, the black arrow's speed is more rapid. Before the 10,000 beastmen have any reaction, they rush in directly. The black arrow with a strong corrosive force inserted into the base of the beast gate, and then quickly turned into a pool of black liquid to corrode everything it touched. Report to the headmaster. It hurts. Get out of the way. These damn Yenjiajin hide many people in the beast gate were touched by the black arrow. Without armor, they had to rely on their bodies to resist. The black corrosive liquid fell on them, making a zzzz sound, emitting white bubbles and smoke, causing bursts of screams. What's the mess? Don't defend me. Show me what you can do. Is the beast gate raising you for free? If there is any more chaos, elder, we can't stop it. One of the 10,000 beast gate soldiers said while trying to resist the overwhelming arrows. Damn it, the elder clenched his teeth and said. Go and invite the deputy headmaster. Only the deputy master knows how to do this array. Go, yes, one side immediately someone agreed, but before he took 2 steps, Shangguan Li's figure appeared directly in front of the door. What's the matter? Can't they call in? Shangguan Li saw the mess of the base at a glance. At this time, the gate of the base had already been devastated. Even a lot of black arrows fell from the base, and eventually turned into pools of black liquid. It looked very ugly, like a swamp, and there were many corroded places on many people. Deputy headmaster, look there. Elder quickly pointed to the outside. Upper official Li sees. See all over the sky should rush to the arrow of Cloud family army under the control of White Snow Sun change direction. Shangguan Li immediately realized what had happened and roared. How do you do things? You don't know how to call me until now? After that, he rushed to the place where he controlled the border. The elder stood in the same place with a careful face, and didn't dare to say a word more. While directing the soldiers to deal with the black arrow, he was busy teaching people to be careful not to destroy the important parts of the base. Finally, the black arrow stopped. No matter how the people of the Cloud family army attacked the border, the black arrow no longer appeared. The elder was relieved. It seemed that he had closed the power conversion array in the border. Chief, the attack doesn't work. Mu Xiaoming turned his head and called Yunwu just like the Yenjiajin, with a helpless look on his face. It seems that they can control the function of the border forehead. Cloud Dance also found this problem, just attacked a few black arrows, only a few, until disappeared. Hearing Mu Xiaoming's voice, Yunwu looked up and saw Shangguan Lijing standing in front of the gate of the base, looking at her angrily. Cloud Dance, a corner of the mouth hook, made a let soldiers retreat gesture. Looking at the inside of the Shangguan Li said with a smile. Long time no see, it seems that your strength is not restored. Shangguan Li, most taboo others say this. At this time Cloud Dance a mention, immediately eyes wide open. You. I tell you. Don't be too proud. What if you can use the border? Now let's take back that move. What else can you do? Is it very powerful to have such a powerful army? If you have the ability, you should call in. Yunwu narrowed his eyes and was hit by Shangguan Li. If the black arrow had been formed all the time, it would be okay, but the other side stopped, so there was no way to attack. Well, the deputy master of the Grand Beast sect has only reached the present level. Yes. What about Shangguan's Hong? Don't you dare to come out? Shangguan retorts impolitely, and flies directly to Yunwu's side, looking at his father, but there is no pity in his eyes. Son of a bitch. Shangguan said angrily. I knew you would have today. I should have strangled you when you were born. You've already killed me. Shangguan retorted coldly. Who was the one who wanted to kill himself? Cloud Dance raised his hand, indicating Shangguan not to say more but directly asked. Where are Shangguan's Hong people? Shangguan Li then put his eyes on Yunwu again. After looking at her for a long time, he suddenly made a chi laugh. Chi, if you want to know where the sect leader is, do you want to avenge Xiaomu? Yunwu, who do you blame if you can't call now? It's not you who don't want to sacrifice the rattan flower. If you want him to sacrifice, wouldn't you have come in long ago? These people of yours still listen to you. They are a group of people who don't have a long brain. Before Yunwu had time to speak, the people of the Cloud Army behind him were already impatient. Chief, don't talk to him. This man is obviously trying to sow discord. Yes. Chief, let's fight. I don't believe it. What can a group of bereaved dogs do? Don't say to sacrifice a person. If it is for unfair sacrifice, then everyone present will not agree. Most of the people present didn't know what was going on, but every sentence was directed to the clouds. That unfair sacrifice poked many people's hearts, and everyone thought so. Not far away, Shiting, who has been silent for a long time, felt a sudden contraction of his heart. These comrades in arms who have been with him for many days, and some comrades who have just known each other, were able to speak for themselves. So why should he stand behind so many people, just for his own survival, and let them rack their brains to think of ways to break the border? In an instant, Shiting almost stood up. Don't think about it. The voice of Cloud Dance came from the sea of knowledge, stifling the pace of Shiting. No one's life and death can be controlled by his own origin. If you have the qualifications to live and live, you should not lose these qualifications just because you are the flower of Rattan. Yunwu's voice is very calm, but it seems to have a kind of magic, which will erase the guilt of Shiting's heart because he didn't stand up. Shiting gave a bitter smile, but said silently in his heart, "Master, thank you." Yunwu knew that even if that person was not Shiting, but anyone present, she would not let that person stand up and sacrifice. Because every life is fair and qualified to live, we should not give up all this for others. Yunwu pursed her lips and said to Shangguan, "I just don't think you are qualified to stand here. Let Shangguan's Hong come out, otherwise you can hide for a lifetime?" "All my life." Shangguan sneered, and was stabbed in the pain by Cloud Dance again. He said directly, "I'll tell you. The sect leader is closing now. We don't need to wait a lifetime. As long as the sect leader closes, no matter how many of you are, you won't be the opponent of the beast sect." "Shut up." Cloud Dance shock said. Heart suddenly emerged a bad idea. Shangguan's Hong's current strength is still closed. Is it to break through? As soon as the idea came out, Yunwu's face suddenly changed, and then he immediately ordered, "Already! Attack the border." No longer caring about the others, the dragon poured out his array and put it in front of the army. The power of the other 4 natural elements was taken out again, and the attack continued. This time, people worked harder, as if they knew what the consequences of Shangguan's Hong's exit would be. Powerful forces poured into the array, condensed into a powerful force, fused with the other 4, and then roared toward the border again. Boom dash! Huge mushroom clouds exploded in the sky, but after the mushroom clouds dispersed, the scene of tens of thousands of people was silent. Border not to turn a hair. His grandmother's 10,000 beast gate. This border, how so difficult to deal with? I don't believe it. What's in the world that can't be broken? It must be our strength is not enough. A few more times. Yes. If we don't destroy the beast gate today, we won't go. Chief. Try again. One by one, the voice urged. Cloud Dance frowned and looked at the border in front. It was clear in my heart that the rumor was true, that only the 5 forces of nature could break the border. Otherwise, with so many experts here and tens of thousands of people's strength gathered together, how could they not even shake the border? "Master, I have a way." At this time, a figure came forward, in everyone's eyes still firmly looking at Yunwu said, "Cloud Dance alone, see the person is Westung, not from a wrinkly eyebrow. Do you have a way?" Words are full of suspicion and vigilance. Xiaomu's affair has just happened. Yunwu feels a little nervous, and is afraid of sacrificing another person. At the beginning, I gave the half-flower of Rattan to Shiting, just for not sacrificing him. And now it's impossible. But Shiting's temperament is uncertain. I don't know if I can guess what Yunwu is thinking, but Shiting's voice came unhurriedly. Now I can freely control the power of Rattan flower. Since the 4 natural elements can't do it, I'll pour the 5th power into it. Although it's a little different from using Rattan flower directly, I have to try it, just in case it can? Hearing Shiting's words, Yunwu was relieved. Well, try it. Just remember, don't be too brave. Tens of thousands of us are here. We can come up with a way. Yes, little brother, you are still so young and you can fight so well. Even if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. We all support you. Someone saw the identity of Shiting and went forward to comfort him. Don't be brave alone. That's it. It's just a border. What's the big deal, isn't it? We have plenty of ways. Rest assured, I'm sure there will be no problem. Shiting said confidently. Yunwu nodded and released all the 4 natural elements. A strange look flashed in Shiting's eyes. He was not in a hurry to do what he said. Instead, he looked at the 4 forces floating around the border and said to Yunwu, "Master, move the drops of the snow mountain to the southeast. These 4 forces need to be arranged in different positions." Yunwu looks at him and is surprised that he even knows this. But when he thinks that he is the flower of rattan, he must have some connection with the other 4. No longer doubt, Cloud Dance directly according to the words of Shiting will quickly adjust the position of those things. Finally, when Shiting said okay, he stopped. See Shitung stand beside Cloud Dance, both hands raised. Immediately after, a strange power appeared in the palm of the hand. With Shitung's control, Tord can leave a position to fly. Shiting's control is very accurate and dare not make any mistakes. Finally, when all the 5 forces were in place, a mysterious force suddenly burst out and swept away towards the border. Cloud Dance in the heart surprised, more condensed the spirit of looking forward to everything in front of. Under that power, the border became thinner and thinner. It was about to disappear. Unexpectedly, at this time, the speed of dissipation stopped and did not continue. Then, it seems that the people of the 10,000 Beasts sect manipulated something. Under the twinkling of the border, there were several attacks in an instant. They attacked the 5 positions. Shiting and Yunwu took things back with a thought. The 5 natural elements are recovered, and the boundary returns to the previous state again, as if there had never been a problem. No way. There was a flash of disappointment in everyone's eyes, and many of them sighed. Shiting's eyes flashed an imperceptible sense of loss, but also a sense of relief, as if he had expected the outcome, looking at the distant sipping mouth. Then he suddenly turned to Yunwu and said, "Master, can you let me try again? It's the first time I've done this just now. I'm not very proficient. I'll try again." Yunwu nodded, then handed the other 4 natural elements to Shiting. The tears of fire, the drops of snow mountain, the light of ancient times and the heart of wind are shining strangely on Shiting's hand, as if calling for his partner. "It's too far from here. I want to go ahead and try." Shiting looked up at the Cloud Dance and said, "Hidden in the depths of the eye is full of attachment." Cloud Dance nodded and said, "Okay, you should pay attention to safety. As soon as the other side has any movement, immediately withdraw. We are behind you." Shiting agreed with a smile. "Don't worry, I have a sense of propriety." In this way Yunwu finally let him go. With 4 kinds of natural elements in his hand, Shiting flew to the border. He just lowered his head after flying a certain distance, looked at the strange light in his arms and said, "Don't worry, I'm coming." Put things in accordance with the previous position. This time, Shiting simply stood in the only vacant position, and then in full view of the public, he suddenly exuded the same strange light as the others. In an instant, the 5 natural elements seemed to echo each other. The light on the body kept flashing. Later, the frequency of flashing was getting closer and closer, and finally completely synchronized. That is, at this time, Yunwu suddenly realized that the connection between himself and Shiting was breaking quickly. There are only 2 possibilities for this to happen. One is that someone is contacting the contract, and the other is that the summoner will die. Shiting. Stop. Stop at once. Cloud Dance. This just reaction come over. Shitung just of everything is to pretend. From the beginning of the failure just now, he knew that he could not deal with the border with just a little bit of the power of rattan flower, so he made a special excuse to stay away from them. Cloud Dance hard a draw, don't want to directly toward the West Tung fly in the past. At the same time the physical strength of the evil bite force is directly mobilized. Want to go to the West Tung rescue. Shiting. What do you do? Come back. Do you hear me? Small stink also urgent. Phoenix's huge body directly toward the front. Shiting. Come back as soon as possible. Don't try to hold on alone. Didn't you hear what you just said? Hongling also flashed a touch of anxiously staring at Shiting, and rushed forward with the little stink. Shiting. What kind of hero are you leaving us? If you have the ability to stay, you can kill more than 10,000 beasts. Shiting. By Shuer, Lan Yu, Xiaojiu, Jinling, these partners have been used to each other's existence for a long time, and their friendship can't be compared with others at all. At this time, they have already rushed forward one by one. But Shiting was smiling and said, "It's too late. It's useless. My body is about to disappear." They had already arrived, but they found that their bodies could not touch Shiting. At this time, he was left with an illusion. Even Bai Shuer couldn't touch him. His body is gone. "Don't be sad. I'm glad to hear that you value me so much," Shiting said with a smile, looking almost transparent, and the smile on his face was particularly desolate. "But you don't know, the more I hear you say that, how can I take it for granted to hide behind you? I am the flower of the rattan, and the flower of the rattan is me. From the time I speak, I have my own destiny. Even if I have the soul and thought, and the right to live, I can't escape this destiny. I'm so selfish that I want to hide and watch everyone helpless in the face of Beast's Gate. How can I be the flower of rattan? Fortunately, everything is still in time. I stand out, you can fight." And Shitung's words came, but Yunwu was not moved. He wrapped Shitung with a little magic power that he could not easily control, and wanted to pull him back. However, when the power of magic bite passed through Shiting's body, Yunwu couldn't believe looking at Shiting in front of him. At this time, he couldn't even save the power of magic bite. "Master, go back quickly, take the army with you, and go in while the border is broken." Yunwu's heart trembled. At this time, he didn't have a word to spare. What he wanted was to let her lead the soldiers to kill her. "Master, I only have one life. Don't forget there are many lives behind you." "See cloud dance, no movement," Shiting said again. "Master, don't forget, this is the battlefield. Master, I really want to fight with you and kill tens of thousands of beast men myself. But I can't, so you can help me to kill more. Master, can I be regarded as a meritorious person, or I gave my strength to destroy the Beast Gate? Master, I have never regretted in my life. I recognize you as my master." Shiting's voice gradually became weak, and finally disappeared completely. Where he had been, he could not see the body, even the human soul. Only a complete flower of rattan blooming in place then. The strange light scattered everywhere and fell on the border below. Where the light of 5 forces passes, the boundary disappears instantly. "Chief, the border is broken. Kill it," someone yelled. Then the voice of shouting, fighting and killing became clearer and clearer, mixed with the screams of 10,000 beast men, and they were afraid of the damage of the border. Shiting dash, the shrill voice came out one after another. And the contract animals had been crying for a long time. Even the little stink could not control it. They raised their heads and gave a voice of foaming, such as the cuckoo's blood and eyes full of sadness. After breaking the barrier, the 5 natural elements fell on Yunwu's hands one after another. Yunwu lowered her head and looked at the things on her hands. Then he suddenly raised his head, his blood-red eyes as if he had lost his sense, his eyes cold, looking at the one human base exposed in front of the army after the border was broken, and his voice cold spewed out a few words. "Kill me." None of them. One man died, another man died. Her friends left one by one. All because of the Beast Gate. All in order to be able to successfully destroy the Beast Gate. Today, no matter what, she will let the Beast Gate disappear completely, in order to sacrifice the spirits of those soldiers in heaven. "Kill dash," the cry rang out, and the soldiers rushed directly into the headquarters of the Beast Gate with their weapons. When they saw people, they killed them, and tens of thousands of troops went in directly to fill the originally spacious place. "Kill the dogs. Avenge our dead brother. Revenge for Shiting. Revenge for Xiaomu. Revenge for our family, these bastards. We must destroy them today." The soldiers roared and rushed into the base of the Beast Gate. The weapons in their hands and the armor on their bodies were all bloodstained. Even the weakest soldiers on weekdays were not afraid to rush into the battle at this time. Yunwu had no time to remember what he had in his hand. At this moment, all the sadness and pain turned into hatred for the Beast Gate. With an ancient sword in his hand, he rushed into the team like crazy and killed everywhere. It seems that it's just to let off steam. Yunwu doesn't even bother to use his fighting spirit and the power of elements. With the continuous waving of Guwu broadsword in his hand, he killed countless enemies with brute force. Long Qingxia, Shangguan and others have been around Yunwu all the time. because of the death of Shiting, they also become very angry. They are mercilessly killed with one move. For a moment, the battle was more like a one-sided massacre. Help! Ah! Help me! Run at the sight of this posture. The people of the Beast Gate immediately got flustered. What's more, they didn't fight for a long time. What's more, they didn't attack the Yun army only at this time. Dragon, Huang Fire Beast, Human World, Upper World and so on, all the local forces are concentrated together. Shang Guanli was shocked by the scene in front of him. He didn't think of it. A moment ago, he was still mocking that the Cloud Dance army couldn't get in. In the twinkling of an eye, he killed the convenience. What's wrong with Yunwu's partner? One by one she's going to die. Why on earth Shang Guanli? Don't wait for Shang Guan to react. Cloud Dance's icy voice first spread to his ears. Then, Shang Guanli saw a flower in front of him, and a figure appeared directly in front of him. Shang Guan stepped back. The strong wind sounded in his ears. Guwu broadsword almost wiped his face. A few strands of chopped hair fell on the ground, shocking. Shang Guanli, I just want to ask you one question. Where is Shangguan's Hong? Yunwu raised Guwu broadsword, pointed to Shang Guan, and asked coldly. His eyes were cold, as if he would rush up and crush him as soon as he didn't answer. Well, I want to know where the headmaster is. We have to win first. If you have the ability, you will kill me directly. Shang Guan sneers. He was locked up in the dungeon by the Yin family army, but he didn't give in. Now he is on the battlefield. How can he give in easily? Yunwu's eyes were cold, and he didn't talk to him. The black flame of Guwu's sword suddenly broke out, as if a living fire snake could devour people. At the same time, 7 kinds of light on Yunwu's body suddenly twinkled. Wind, wood, water, fire, earth, thunder, space, 7 elements burst out in an instant, including Cloud Dance. Just in an instant, the speed and attack power of Cloud Dance reached the peak. With the wave of the ancient sword, he rushed to Shang Guanli with the speed of wind element blessing. At that moment, Shang Guanli seemed to hear the roar of the blow, and wanted to eat himself up. It is clear that the strength is just retrogression. At this time, it seems that there is no strength at all. He can only stand in the same place and watch the approaching attack. Shang Guanli almost lost his ability to avoid. Just at this time, a man from the 10,000 Beast sect nearby was just kicked by someone. His powerful power directly made him face Shang Guanli, and bumped Shang Guanli to one side. 2 people bang. One fell on the ground not far away, but also because of this let Shang Guanli avoid this blow. Cloud Dance wrist a turn. Corner of the eye glimpses not far Shang Guan figure. Always active figure at this time like in a daze looking at Shang Guanli. Shang Guan! Cloud Dance a exclamation. With a wind blade cut to the Shang Guan side. Is preparing to attack 10,000 beast men. Shang Guan then recovered from his stupor. His sword danced quickly, and he solved the man who wanted to attack. Then he turned to Yunwu and said with a smile, I'm sorry Shang Guan spoke for a while, but found that he didn't know how to explain his behavior just now. Could he say that he couldn't watch his father die in his friend's hand, so he would kick the beast man in the past? It's clear that his father has committed many evils, and even tried to kill himself again and again. But why can't he do it at this time? Cloud Dance saw the struggle on Shang Guan's face, clear in heart. Light said, Don't worry, you just deal with other people, I know how to do. After that, without waiting for Shang Guan to say anything more, Yunwu waved his sword and ran to Shang Guan again. Shang Guan was stunned for a second. Then he turned around and bit his teeth. Thinking about what Shang Guanli had done in the past, he forced himself not to look at it anymore and turned to enter the battlefield again. The base fell. In the past, the headquarters of the Forbidden Area, which was regarded as the supreme place by various forces, has now become the existence trampled by tens of thousands of people. In the past, people who were afraid of the Beast Gate now vent all their anger on the people who had bullied them and lost their dignity. With a knife, a sword, a gun and metal collision, they block all their lives. It's up there. Kill. Kill these animals and we'll be free. None. Kill them all. Take back our own home for the people. For family. Kill them, the soldiers screamed and roared. Weapons fell into their bodies and made a sound of puff, and blood splashed. Their bodies were dyed red, including the blood of 10,000 beast men and their companions. Gongzi, a rough man with sharp eyes, saw his partner was stabbed in the chest by a beast man, a pair of eyes as big as brass bell. Puff, a splash of blood. Some fresh blood directly splashed on the man's face, that pair of copper bell-like eyes instantly attacked by anger. Beast! Take your life, the man roared, and the steel knife in his hand looked fiercely at the beast man. The power of Wuzong's state burst out in an instant, and the blue fighting spirit covered his whole body. The beast men probably didn't think that they just killed one person, and even attracted a stronger enemy. Under the powerful pressure, they couldn't even dodge. They watched the steel knife hit them. The next moment, brain burst. Gongzi! Gongzi! You stand up! The man pulled up the man who had fallen to the ground and yelled. They came up from the human world together. Their hometown is the same small town, but they were bloodwashed by the Beast Gate a year ago because they refused to obey the rule of the Beast Gate. The night before tomorrow, they were still drinking and eating meat together. They saw the victory in front of them. They were feeling about the changes of the world, thinking that they would soon be able to destroy the Beast Gate, and thinking that they could go home and marry a daughter-in-law to live a safe life. But today on this battlefield, my partner died in front of me without warning. Gongzi dash roared the man, his eyes full of hatred. Only the two of them survived in the whole town. Now he is the only one left. How can we not hate? However, no matter how he called, the man he was holding couldn't hear anything. Ah, the man roared. He grabbed the steel knife in his hand and chopped at the beast men around him. He wants revenge for his friends. Revenge for your family. Revenge for everyone in the town. Only by killing all the scum of the 10,000 Beast sect, and completely destroying the 10,000 Beast sect, can we be regarded as revenge. Such an idea flashed through the hearts of millions of people present. Everyone worked hard to kill the enemy, one fell down, and more people stood up. The battle lasted for a whole day and night. In the past, the bustling Wan human base was completely reduced to ruins. Bang! Shangguan's back hit a hard wall, and a mouthful of blood gushed out from his mouth. I'll ask you again, where is Shangguan's Hong? Cloud Dance's eyes are cold. No one dares to get close within 3 feet. All the people of the Beast sect walk around her for fear of angering her. Even in the face of thousands of troops, they are not willing to face her alone. Haha. Shangguan touched his chest and sneered. The laughter grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it turned into a wild laugh. Ha ha ha, Cloud Dance. Don't waste your efforts. Do you think I'll tell you now? You can never stop the promotion of the goalkeeper. Ha ha ha. Yunwu tightened her brows and raised the sword again. Looking at Shangguan's face, she didn't kill him. She didn't even make him feel miserable. She just abolished his cultivation after a few moves. If she had changed others, she would have been tortured. But Shangguanli still refused to speak, even forced Yunwu to kill him again and again. Little fellow, the sound of dragons evil comes. Then the man appeared at Yunwu's side and said, the battle is almost over. These people of the Beast Gate are very easy to deal with. They don't even see 2 strong opponents. I think they must have hidden the experts and waited for Shangguan's Hong to pass. Yunwu's face sank, and the Shangguan on the other side sneered. Little guy, it's not too late. Let's go into the base now. We can't let Shangguan's Hong break through anyway. Long Qingxie suggested. I feel that if it's too late, it's too late. Hearing this, Yunwu nodded, then called someone directly, tied Shangguanli back, turned around and went into the base with Dragon. This base is a floating island, with its own heaven and earth inside. Although the buildings outside are in ruins, we found something similar to an altar inside. Be careful. This is the headquarters after all. There must be something strange. Dragon Qing Evil will Cloud Dance behind, sighed Sirius said. I understand. Cloud Dance nodded seriously. I swept around the altar, and then saw a secret tunnel. Go there to have a look. Long Qingxie looked in the direction of Yunwu's finger, and saw a secret road, so he nodded. As they walked carefully to the depth, they explored around to see if there was a place for the experts to hide. After all, there must be a lot of experts in the Beast Gate, so it must be easy to find them all. All of a sudden, Long Qingxie seemed to feel something. He suddenly looked at the middle of the altar, where there was a faint light emitting, as if there was some power calling him. But when Long Qingxia saw that thing, his face suddenly became very difficult to see. What's the matter? Cloud Dance sensitively discovered the strange of Dragon Qing evil. Can't help but ask. Long Qingxia was stunned. He turned his hair and saw the Cloud Dance. It seemed that he didn't notice anything. He couldn't help being silent for a moment and said, "There's a passage over there, too. I'll go there and have a look and act separately." Cloud Dance's vision sweeps to the side. As expected, sees a secret road. Then nodded, explained, "Careful." The two separate their actions, but the dragon didn't go in directly. On the contrary, they walked towards the altar after Yunwu left. With the approaching of Dragon Qingxia, the light became more obvious, like seeing acquaintances. Long Qingxia only felt that the closer he was, the more flustered he felt. Finally, in the middle of the altar, Long Qingxia looked down at the light. After a long silence, he raised his hand, and an array emerged from his palm. Without any hesitation, he covered the light. Yunwu walked along the secret road all the time, but he didn't find anything. When he was about to go to other places, he suddenly felt that in the base, an unprecedented strong breath oppressed the whole space, unprecedented powerful. Then the whole base trembled violently, and the sky fell apart. "Little fellow, step on it. Shangguanzhong is out of the pass. It's going to collapse here." Long Qingxia didn't know when he appeared here. He was in such a dangerous situation. Mingming is close to the exit, but he doesn't leave. Instead, he rushes towards Yunwu. Until he gets to Yunwu's side, Long Qingxia grabs her hand and holds her up and flies out. When they just ran out of the base, they suddenly felt that the energy was getting closer and closer. Behind them, a dark shadow was covering the sky. In the hazy sunlight, the hair and beard danced wildly, and the clothes were flying wildly. Suddenly, the faces of all the people on the scene were serious. Looking at the back of the dragon and the cloud, almost all of them held the weapons in their hands and watched carefully in front of them. In the middle of the battle, the figure of Shangguanzhong was in the air, and the pressure was everywhere. A group of people standing below even turned pale because they could not resist the pressure, as if they might fall down at any time. Even so, no one has the intention of shrinking back, still gritting his teeth. I saw the figure of Shangguanzhong falling from the air. His clothes and hair were black, and his face was ferocious. "Be on my guard," Yunwu said to the people around her. Her brow gradually frowned. She looked at Shangguanzhong in the sky. Her eyes gradually cold, silver teeth dark bite. The atmosphere of Shangguanzhong is too strong now. Yunwu can't help feeling that she is far away from Shangguanzhong. Facing Shangguanzhong, revenge will be more difficult. All of them have put their weapons in front of them. Countless people on the other side of the Beast Gate are very excited because of the appearance of Shangguanzhong. Their morale is rising. They come out of the main hall and attack the Cloud Dancing team. And these people around Yunwu began to fight with one woman one after another. Cloud Dance is very alert to see the figure of Shangguanzhong gradually fall to the ground. Came to them, that abnormal familiar face. At this time all are very proud smile. I didn't expect that Shangguanzhong would be out of the pass so soon. Cloud Dance frowned and whispered to the dragon nearby. He seems to have broken through. He feels that the whole person's breath is more powerful and hard to deal with. Everyone should be careful. Long Qingxia didn't speak. He just turned his head and looked at the people around him. They all knew clearly and nodded seriously. The whole air is full of seriousness and tension. The whole border is full of choking smell. "Yunwu, I haven't seen you for such a long time. How can you not make any progress?" Shangguanzhong said, with a smile in his eyes. The whole person was very lazy, but he made people feel more dangerous. Yunwu's eyes are colder and colder, and he doesn't say a word. His eyes are full of killing and indifference, and his face is frosty. The whole person seems to be immersed in the ice, which makes his companions can't help looking sideways. The weapon is in hand. The energy has wrapped the whole sword. Yunwu's eyes are narrowed. The whole person is on high alert. He wraps his whole body with fighting spirit, but he doesn't dare to be careless. The whole scene was full of tension, and the battle was imminent. Good. Shangguanzhong's eyes swept through the base, but finally highlighted these two words. He looked at Yunwu with a smile on his face. In a short period of time he was able to break through the border and make my territory look like this. Yunwu, I really underestimate you. If I don't show up, the battle will be over. But unfortunately, that's the end of your success. Next, I want you to pay for it. All of a sudden, Shangguanzhong, wrapped in a black fighting hand, immediately attacked the cloud dance and turned into a flash of lightning in mid-air, like a sharp arrow. With the wind, even the clothes were straight. In a twinkling, Yunwu had reached his side. An extremely strong pressure made Yunwu almost suffocate. He quickly stepped back a few steps, but he escaped the fatal attack of Shangguanzhong. But I didn't expect that the beast of Shangguanzhong was very fast. After his strength was improved, he was not comparable. Just for a moment, he immediately turned around. His right hand stretched out and grabbed at Yunwu's neck. Yunwu has no way out at all. Seeing Shangguanzhong's fingernails have touched her neck, a trace of pain makes Yunwu's brain wake up for a moment. Shangguanzhong looked at her with a sneer in his eyes. Through his cold eyes, Yunwu clearly saw that what he reflected was his tight face. Too fast. Yunwu's brain just reflected this sentence in an instant, but he already saw that Shangguanzhong in front of his eyes had become a nothingness, leaving only a corner of black clothes. Long Qingxia stands behind the cloud dance. Suddenly his heart sinks, and the secret way is not good. Then he flew forward, quickly grabbed Yunwu's shoulder and pulled her back. His right hand quickly pushed towards Shangguanzhong's shoulder. Shangguanzhong couldn't keep his balance for a moment and could pass Yunwu. Rao is so. The neck of cloud dance also was delimited a not shallow bloodstain. Seeing that Yunwu was injured, Long Qingxia frowned deeply. While carefully looking at Shangguanzhong's figure in the field, he gently stroked Yunwu's neck, pursed his lips and wiped the dripping blood clean. Cloud dance in the heart micro-movement also did not speak, the water element on the neck wound hemostasis. Shangguanzhong seems to be very upset that Yunwu is suddenly pulled away. Originally his gaze at Yunwu turns to Long Qingxi. A sinister smile appears on his face. Then he turns quickly and rushes towards Long Qingxi. At the same time, Long Qingxia's heart was tight. His eyes narrowed slightly, and he quickly sidestepped to avoid it. Rao was like this, but he was also scratched by Shangguanzhong, and his eyes became colder. Shangguanzhong's strength has improved too much. Is this the realm of Wuxian? Long Qingxia protects Yunwu behind him and looks at his side. Shangguanzhong was very fierce. All the people who stood in his way were torn, with blood and limbs everywhere. Those who were lucky enough to avoid the attack of Shangguanzhong had been scared so much that they were easily killed by the black-robed people around them. Ha ha ha, with the leader of the sect, these people are here to die. The experts who came out of the hiding place laughed and said, yes. Fortunately, the sect leader has the foresight to let us preserve our strength, so that we can stay until now and kill these people with our own hands, said the other laughing. Yes, the sect leader is brilliant. If the cannon fodder is dead, then it's the real feast. The wild laughter of the experts of the Beast Gate was mixed with the fighting sound, which seemed very rampant. In fact, when these experts appeared, the Cloud Army was forced to retreat. Bah! These bastards! Just now I dare not come out, but now I've come out to fake tiger power. Brothers! Don't panic. Our leader and dragon boss are not vegetarians, yes. Damn it, the soldiers fought their lives, and they could never lose now. Even in the face of the sudden emergence of the experts, they did not shrink back. In a few words, the morale returned. Well, if you don't see the coffin and don't shed tears, I'll let you know the power of our experts in the Beast Gate. Yes. Kill them, and give me food and wine. After that, the two sides are fighting together again. Besiege Shangguanzhong. Cloud Dance suddenly Wei. Shangguan and others suddenly realized that Chi-Chi took up arms, and moved quickly to the direction of Shangguanzhong. Several soldiers divided into several routes and surrounded Shangguanzhong together. When Shangguanzhong turned around, he saw that Yunwu and others had surrounded him. Several acquaintances, one by one, were smiling. Suddenly picked up a man's weapon on the ground at random, stood in place, waiting for the arrival of Yunwu and others. At this time, Shangguanzhong's whole body was wrapped in the black fighting spirit, and his face was ferocious. The black fighting spirit was constantly steaming upward, as if there was a black fire all over his body. It was frightening to just look at it. Don't be afraid. Everyone cooperate well and follow my orders. Cloud Dance serious say. The vision does not blink of stare at the upper official grave. Don't worry, Mama. We are not afraid at all. Small Stink said seriously, pure blood demon Huang's king demeanor in this moment. Don't worry about us. We're not weak. Nangong Yi said with a smile, his eyes bright. That's right. The last battle will be fought anyway. Chi Night Color closely followed to say. The corner of Cloud Dance's mouth conjures up a smile. Fortunately, in this dangerous time, the partners around us are still courageous. Good. Everybody up Cloud Dance no longer say more, a simple word, everyone started together, directly toward the Shangwenzhong. Small Stink has been the first to come to the mid-air. Toward the head of Shangwenzhong dived down. The mouth of the beast a loud call, straight out of the flame. But Shangwenzhong didn't look at him at all. He just slowly raised his hand and waved it towards his head, as if there was an invisible energy. In an instant, Xiaoqiu was attacked by the invisible one, whining and flying backwards, and then fell to the ground, obviously injured. Everyone's heart suddenly sank. I didn't expect that just one move could have such great power. As expected, the realm of Wuxian is different from Wuling. Be careful, everyone. His moves are strange. I'll take the lead. Cloud Dance said. The hand of the ancient martial arts sword clenched, 7 colors of elements wrapped in the body, the black flame burning on the knife, directly toward Shangwenzhong. When Shangwenzhong saw Cloud Dance coming, he could not help but raise a smile and looked very disdainful. He didn't worry until he got close to Yunwu. He suddenly raised his hand and threw out his sword. The sword was wrapped in his black fighting spirit and flew to Yunwu with the wind. Yunwu's eyebrows are frowning, and more fighting spirit gushes out, which tightly envelopes the whole body. The whole person is in the purple fighting spirit, and the stones and dust that come from the air and around are all bounced away by Yunwu's fighting spirit. Ha 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 ha. Shangwenzhong suddenly gave out a burst of hearty laughter, which made the people around Yunwu feel very harsh. She frowned and was very careful. She didn't slack off and was not afraid. Little fellow, I'll accompany you. Dragon's evil voice sounded in his ears, as if to give great support to Yunwu. Holding the épée in his hand, he flew forward and stood side by side with Yunwu. Obviously, it's just an ordinary move, but it makes Yunwu feel at ease. With a slight nod, Yunwu gives out a Be careful, now he's enough to be a threat. Cloud Dance mouth reminds away. Now here can withstand the prestige close body also only they two. I understand. The dragon is in response to the evil. Yunwu and Yunwu approached each other, holding the sword and épée in their hands, but they didn't go straight to Shangwenzhong. Instead they suddenly divided into 2 groups, one on the left and the other on the right, and bypassed Shangwenzhong. When Shangwenzhong saw that they were avoiding, he sneered and suddenly turned to attack Yunwu. This gave Dragon the chance to pour out evil. He suddenly turned his body and attacked Shangwenzhong's back. Seeing that Yunwu and Longqingxi attack together, Shangwenzhong suddenly turns around and grabs Longqingxi's épée with his left hand. As he pulls back, his steps slightly deviate to avoid Yunwu's attack behind him. Then he turns around and takes a hard shot to beat Longqingxi out. Behind him, Yunwu's sword came again, but he didn't turn his head. However, the black fighting spirit wrapped in his body flicked Yunwu's sword away. Yunwu was pushed to stagger for several steps before he stopped. He only felt the blood in his body rolling and his mouth smelling sweet. At the same time, those who are not close to the body directly release the attack in the distance, and all of them greet Shangwenzhong. A small skill in carving insects. Shangwenzhong sneered, and his figure moved quickly. He dodged all those attacks. The release of powerful pressure makes it more difficult for people to attack. Originally, his strength was not as good as that of him. Now it's even more difficult for him to be distracted and resist the pressure at the same time. Still not. Long Qingxie returns to Yunwu's side, wipes the blood at the corner of his mouth, gasps heavily, and is obviously injured. Protect yourself. He sighed and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was very dignified, but in a twinkling of an eye, several experts came out to encircle him. But in front of the Shangguanzhang, but stood there intact, a face of calm. Why afraid? Shangguanzhang asked, smiling and fighting. Shangguanzhang's smile is very cruel in this cruel battle, with corpses everywhere behind him. Blood stained the land, wailing people, and desperate eyes. In front of Yunwu's eyes, Xiaomu's determination and sadness at the time of his death suddenly appear. And he suddenly remembers the tearing heart and splitting lung at the time of Xueyin's self-explosion. Sometimes, what makes people despair and angry most is that they are full of resentment, but they have no way to vent their feelings because of their lack of ability. She turned her head and looked at those who were still fighting. Some of them were covered with blood, but they were still fighting. Some of them were bruised, but they were still fighting. She had brought them, and they should have been brought back by her. Her eyes suddenly turned red. Then, she clenched the knife in her hand and clenched her teeth. Her tears were swallowed by her. The murderous spirit on her body suddenly rose to the sky, which moved people around her. Cloud Dance suddenly released all the fighting spirit of the whole body, and without saying a word, attacked Shangguanzhang, which can't be underestimated. Shangguanzhang finally frowned slightly, with a trace of vigilance in his eyes. When the sword was waved, people around her were moved by the strong wind. The purple fighting spirit was like a ghost, which wrapped the whole body of Yunwu. With the greatest strength, she threw the sword at Shangguanzhang. The huge blade made Shangguanzhang look surprised. But Shangguanzhang didn't worry. He took a small step back with his left foot, and then put the sword of the man he just picked up across his chest. However, the strength of Yunwu's attack was too strong. The sword was just an ordinary long sword. In an instant, it was split in two by Yunwu's knife. Shangguanzhang obviously didn't realize this problem, and his face changed. Cloud Dance's corner of the mouth raised a faint smile, but it didn't distract him. Instead, he continued to cautiously chop toward Shangguanzhang's neck. There should be his most vulnerable place. Shangguanzhang frowned tightly. Almost at the same time, he continued to lift the broken sword in his hand. In an instant, a strong fighting spirit was added to the sword, and then he continued to block himself. This time, Yunwu didn't cut off the broken sword so smoothly. With a bang, the swords collided with each other, and the fire flashed everywhere. Yunwu suddenly stepped back a few steps, and Shangguanzhang, also frowning, stepped back half a step, and the broken sword in his hand had been broken into pieces. After taking a deep breath, Yunwu only felt his wrist numb, and looked down at his hand. His mouth had been torn and bleeding. His hands were shaking, and he could not even hold his knife. Her face was a little pale. She frowned and looked up at Shangguanzhang, panting. It was obvious that this attack had exhausted her strength. Seeing the strength of Shangguanzhang, Yunwu felt more cautious. When she turned her head to look behind her, Long Qingxia had already come to her side, shoulder to shoulder with her, and was also very embarrassed. "What's the situation?" Long Qingxia asked. "No, Shangguanzhang is too powerful now." Cloud Dance pursed her mouth seriously and shook her head. "This kind of random attack is not good at all. I think we need to discuss the tactics." Words have not finished, but suddenly heard people around smile, and then very helpless and said with doting, "I am asking how your situation, not to ask him." Smell speech, Cloud Dance a lung, Light relaxed a breath to say, "I am all right." Dragon tilts his lips and suddenly feels happy. He reaches out to touch Yunwu's head. Then, the Apei throws a sword flower in his hand. Before Yunwu speaks, he attacks Shangguanzhang. But Yunwu is afraid of what's wrong with Longqingxi, so she frowns tightly and follows up in a hurry. The Guwu sword in her hand is wrapped by thunder elements, which is magnificent. Without hesitation, Long Qingxia stabbed him with a sword, turned his head and glanced at the clouds behind him. "Keep up." Mingming didn't open his mouth, but Long Qingxia's eyes clearly said these two words. Yunwu understood in an instant and followed closely with a big knife. Just after a fight, Long Qingxia was beaten back several steps. The corner of her mouth overflowed with blood, and she almost didn't stand firm. Yunwu wrapped water elements in her left hand and gently stroked his back. After a short period of treatment, She continued to rush toward Shangguanzhong. Long Qingxia wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and followed Yunwu to attack him. One after the other, they hardly gave Shangguanzhong a chance to fight back. The two late Wuling masters were overwhelmed with attacks, which almost caught everyone off guard. However, Shangguanzhong didn't see enough of them. Such an urgent attack only led to Shangguanzhong shaking his head and sighing. It's too slow. Both attack speed and dodge speed are too slow. Shangguanzhong pats Yunwu with one hand, but grabs Long Qingxi's sword with the other. The strength is so strong that Long Qingxi can't break free. But Yunwu sees that Long Qingxi is trapped, so she quickly turns back to help, but Shangguanzhong suddenly throws Long Qingxi to Yunwu. All of a sudden, the two people threw out together, and a black fighting spirit from Shangguanzhong rushed into the two people's bodies through the dragon's sword. In an instant, Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance almost sprayed blood at the same time. They were beaten out and fell to the ground. They didn't get up for a long time. Little Dance. Long Qingxia. Here we are. Shangguan's voice suddenly appeared behind him. Before Yunwu had time to look up, he saw that Mu Xiaoming, Gao Yu, Ling Qingshui and Meng Bai had leaped in front of them, and he saw Shangguanzhong rushing towards here. You're too slow. Shangguan's face was light. We've been waiting for you for a long time. Nangong Yi and Qi Yi's look at each other and don't speak, but they seem to agree with Shangguan's words. The masters of the Beast Gate are hard to deal with, and they have been delayed for a long time. It's not easy to clean up some of them, so we're here in a hurry, leaving Situlan alone to lead the army. Don't worry, said Mu Xiaoming. Be careful. Cloud Dance suddenly opened his eyes to remind that Mu Xiaoming's reflexive body just dodged the blow of Shangguanzhong. Almost at the moment when Shangguanzhong arrived here, Long Qingxi rushed directly to Shangguan and others, and the Pei crossed in front of them. Shangguan and others saw that Long Qingxi had already got up, and they all stepped forward and stood in front with Long Qingxi. Shangguanzhong is worthy of breaking through the barrier. Now his strength is advancing by leaps and bounds. Several people can't stop him, but they can't stop him. Let him break them up. Long Qingxia couldn't help his blood gushing out, and the injury in his body was a little more serious, which made his face even more pale. Looking at the direction of Shangguanzhong, he frowned tightly, and his eyes were very dignified. It seems that you still have no choice but to wait for death. Shangguanzhong said sarcastically, looking at a few people. He looked very joking. Even a few more people can't change the result. I'm not going to play with you anymore. That's it. Some of you I'm missing. Shangguanzhong suddenly said over there. Then he stepped on the ground and jumped up in an instant. The terrible figure instantly leaped in front of several people, so that everyone was shocked, and quickly took up arms to resist. At this time I heard someone behind me shouting, Cloud Dance, we are coming. Cloud Dance turns head to see to go of time. CC2 land to take a pair of human horses to have already arrived nearby. How are you doing there? Cloud Dance asked. There is no problem. The experts have already dealt with it. Now how can we defeat Shangguanzhong? This is the most worth thinking about, said Situlan. Yunwu looked at him, and saw that his body was full of wounds, blood and mud. He couldn't tell whether it was the enemy's blood or his blood. However, he was in good spirits and didn't seem to be seriously injured. When Shangguanzhong saw Yunwu, almost all the people gathered together and said with a sneer, It seems that they are going to die together? Said the speed does not reduce. The moment has swept to the side of Cloud Dance. Cloud Dance just retreated half a step, in the hand of the ancient sword with a strong thunder elements, to the official tomb attack. But this time Shangguanzhong didn't take any weapons, as if he was very confident in his own strength. The strong in Wuxian realm still have the assurance to defeat the people in Wuling realm, even if they are unarmed. Bare-handed? Too confident. Seeing Shangguanzhong like this, Yunwu's eyes brightened and sneered in his heart. Then, under the cover of the black flame jumping on the Guwu broadsword, the left hand swept a radian neatly, and the 7 elements were instantly excited in the body. Then they appeared together in the palm of the hand. Under the powerful control, the 7 elements quickly gathered together and finally turned into a colorful ball. Just looking at it, you can feel its power. Then, under the control of Yunwu, The colorful ball went directly into the black flame of Guwu de Gao and hid in it instantly. Until this moment, Yunwu came to Shang Wenzhong's side, and the ancient sword in his hand cut to Shang Wenzhong without hesitation. Shang Wenzhong gave a sneer. He didn't notice the little action of cloud dance. He stretched out his hand and held the sword with his right hand. Is that the only strength? It's not enough. Shang Wenzhong's eyes are full of satire, just like a cat teasing mice. The hand holding Guwu broadsword was like baking in the black flame. However, Shangguan didn't seem to feel the burning heat. His face didn't change at all. The fighting spirit of Wuxian realm was wrapped in his hand to resist the attack of the black flame. Well, just don't you know that being too conceited is not a good thing? Especially in the face of a cunning enemy. Cloud Dance said with a sneer. The next moment, Shang Wenzhong seems to have found something. His face changed dramatically. But it was too late. The colorful ball hidden in the black flame quickly got into Shang Wenzhong's body. The cloud dances a corner of mouth to hook, low voice says. Haven't finished yet. Then the power of evil bite emerged in large numbers. Along the ancient sword held by Shang Wenzhong, it also went straight in like the colorful ball. Damn it, Shang Wenzhong roared and clapped his palm at Yunwu's chest. This blow exhausted all his strength. The attack under the indignation was not what Yunwu could resist at all. However, Yunwu had expected this for a long time, and knew that the speed of Wuxian could not be resisted by himself. He was doomed to be unable to avoid this attack, so he immediately carried all the strength in his body and added several layers of protection to the position where Shang Wenzhong attacked. Little 5. Be careful, little dance. Master. One by one, they suddenly thought that none of them thought that this change would happen. All this happened between lightning and flint. When they wanted to rush forward, it was too late. Shang Wenzhong's palm was directly patted on Yunwu's body, and then Yunwu's whole person crossed an arc in the air and flew upside down. Watch out for Shang Wenzhong. Don't be tough. At the moment of flying out, Yunwu did his best to shout out this sentence. The force that just entered Shang Wenzhong was not small. If they were near Shang Wenzhong at this time, they would be affected by it. Bang! Yunwu's body hit the ground heavily. Then puff a big mouth of blood gushing out, followed by a severe cough. This palm down, cloud dance just feel like a foot into the gate of death. Almost can guess how his body injury. She was slapped by Shang Wenzhong, but she did her best to shout out that sentence. At this time, she didn't even have the strength to speak. However, for the first time, I still looked up to see if my partner was far away from Shang Wenzhong. Little 5. Little fellow. Master. One by one, the wounded figures ran to Yunwu desperately. They were not so worried when they were injured, but when they saw Yunwu fall, they seemed to have lost half their lives. It can be seen that they attach great importance to cloud dance. Long Qingxie is the first one to rush over. His eyes are full of heartache. He complains why he wants Yunwu to rush up by himself. He is a man, but he is behind Yunwu at that time. Cloud Dance, to see people's concern, reluctantly hook the lips, laborious signal everyone to look at the sky, always guard against Shang Wenzhong. In the air, Shang Wenzhong seemed to be frozen in the air. Only his changing face could show his anger and hardship. Yunwu clearly knows the gap between Wuxian and Wuling. Even the colorful ball can't make Shang Wenzhong lose his action power. Therefore, only by penetrating those forces into his body can he be seriously damaged. Nangong Yi Shangguan and others naturally noticed this situation at this time. I'll cut him again. Shangguan stood up and was about to go up with his sword, but he was stopped by Yunwu before he started. Don't go cough. But after 3 words, Yunwu coughed violently, and Shangguan turned around immediately. He's trying to force out the power I'm fighting in. You're going to attack now. The colorful ball will explode directly. It's very powerful. You can't resist it. At that time we can't survive cough. Cloud Dance efforts to make everything clear, followed by a few cough. Shangguan and others are nervous. Xiao Wu, don't talk now. Don't talk. I'll take you away. You can heal quickly. Dragon Qing, evil gloomy face, hastily said. After that, he picked up Yunwu and took the crowd away. Cloud Dance's worry, how can he not know? There are too many sacrifices in this war. although she seems to be very cold-blooded sometimes. Only people who understand her can understand that she is more affectionate than anyone else, and more afraid of the injury and sacrifice of her companions than anyone else. Cloud Dance didn't hesitate to hear Dragon's evil words. At this moment is the most critical moment of the war, absolutely cannot be defeated here. Cloud Dance endures severe pain. Heart read a move from the space to take out pills into the mouth, and then take advantage of now immediately began to heal. She didn't know how powerful the Wuxian realm was. The sneak attack just now could only be used once. If the attack didn't hit Shangguanzhang seriously, she was afraid that he would stop being arrogant in the future, and they would never have such an opportunity again. In fact, Yunwu was also vaguely aware that because of the special system of Shangguanzhang, without the power of the four natures and the sacred objects of the witch family, he was afraid that he could not be killed. However, in the absence of all the conditions, they can only try their best. Above the sky, Shangguanzhang's face was dark. On the one hand, he carefully forced the power out of his body, for fear that it might detonate the riot force accidentally. On the other hand, he had to guard against someone taking the opportunity to attack, and he hated Yunwu to the bone for a moment. Time in this moment is very precious. Even a second is not willing to waste, whether it is Shangguanzhang or Yunwu are working hard. Finally, Yunwu opened his eyes and took the lead in looking at Shangguanzhang. However, he was still pale and weak, and said to the people around him, "Now you can only let fate decide. No matter whether he can force the power out or not, you can't get close before the colorful ball explodes. I'm hurt too much. I need a little time to adjust. Please don't be impulsive." Nangong Yi and others frowned slightly and hold the weapons in their hands tightly. In fact, everyone has a desire to rush up now. Even if they sacrifice, they can at least let the power detonate in Shangguanzhang, which can always increase the chance of killing him. Cough, I've lost 2 partners in a row. We can't sacrifice for nothing anymore. Cloud Dance's mouth showed a sad smile, as if as long as people don't nod, she has been looking at everyone without healing. A few people just feel a move in their hearts. The death of Xiao Mu and Shitung floats to their hearts. Then they look at Yunwu's firm eyes. They look at each other, and finally they compromise and nod their heads. Cloud Dance, this just shows a weak smile, closed eyes, thoroughly entered the deep healing. Little by little, finally, in the watchful eyes of the public, Shangguanzhang seems to have consumed most of his strength, and finally forced the colorful ball and the power of magic bite out of his body. People just feel a moment of regret, and then immediately one by one clench the weapon, ready to rush up after the ball exploded. But at this time, Shangguanzhang's hand was lifted, the black fighting spirit gushed out instantly, and he swallowed the ball directly in front of everyone. How could that be? The crowd glared, never expecting this. Others may not know, but Nangong Yi and others who have been around Yunwu for so long know how powerful the 7-color ball is. But how also did not expect, this Shangguanzhang expended most of the strength to force it out of the body, actually directly engulfed. This, I'm afraid Cloud Dance to see, will also be raised a bit startled. In the air, the black fighting spirit gradually dissipated, followed by another black fighting spirit gushing out, wrapping the Shangguanzhang. You want to kill me with this skill? Shangguanzhang sneered, and his cold eyes swept over the crowd. Especially when I see the Cloud Dance sitting cross-legged on the ground to heal. My eyes suddenly become very fierce. Dragon Qingxie keenly felt the sight, and moved his body to block the cloud behind him. In his long black eyes he was infected with a cold haze. If we can't kill you, it doesn't mean we can't take you. Nangong Yi and others didn't say anything, but they tacitly grasped the weapon and stood aside. It seemed very casual. But when you take a serious look, you will find that their position actually protected the Cloud Dance in the healing process in a safe range. Haha. But Shangguanzhang burst out laughing. The black fighting spirit in his body seemed to change from high to low with the energy absorbed by the phagocytosis of the 7-color elemental ball, adding to his inexplicable sense of horror. Yes, I want to see what you can do with me. As soon as the haughty haha gloomy voice fell, I saw the black figure in the mid-air. Suddenly the empty shadow flashed. In the twinkling of an eye, suddenly disappeared in the eyes of the public. And the next second, no one was given a chance to react. Bang! Boom! After the ape forcibly resisted the strange black fighting spirit like iron on the collision, the powerful energy wave spread from the intersection of the two forces, which was enough to tear people apart. Long Qingxia looked at Shangguanzhong in front of him. His face turned pale, but his eyes were cold, but he didn't retreat. The heavy sword in his hand blocked Shangguanzhong's sword, which was condensed by his black fighting spirit. His feet retreated a step because of the momentum, but behind him was cloud dancing. Shangguanzhong squints. It seems that he didn't expect that this dragon can react in time to block his attack. However, Long Qingxia was also surprised. It's getting stronger. It seems that the strength of Shangguanzhong is even stronger than before. Moreover, the air is inexplicably familiar. What's the matter? Just now their attack, even if Shangguanzhong is not seriously injured, it is impossible to recover in such a period of time, and it seems to be more powerful. How is it thinking of that possibility? Long Qingxia's face changed slightly, and he was staring at Shangguanzhong in front of him. Do you also have the blood of the evil family? Long Qingxia has a special system of immortality, because it is the blood of the evil family. Even the improvement of his strength is strange. It's like he just started to cultivate. If he wants to improve his strength, he must improve from the killing. With his strength becoming stronger, the way he improves his strength can change a lot. It's one of them that eats other energy and absorbs it for your own use. Shangguan once said that the foundation of their Shangguan family is not very clear. Only the current leader of the Beast clan, Shangguanzhong, has this special constitution. If Shangguanzhong really has the blood of the evil family in his body, then he has the immortal body, then everything makes sense. But the result of this guess made Long Qingxia's face not very good. Because if this is the case, it means that the evil clan may be related to the Beast clan, but he is the so-called young master of the evil clan. The dragon's evil words made Shangguanzhong smile strangely. However, the fierce force in his eyes became more and more strong. It seems that after knowing you for so long, you are a little smart for the first time. What does he mean? Is it true? There was an undercurrent in Long Qingxia's heart. The hand holding the ape was white, but there was a trace of gloom in his deep black eyes. In this case, let's destroy together. It was whispered, and only two people could hear it. Next second, at the moment when Dragon Qingxia's whole body strength was mobilized, he turned over with ape and cut off with backhand. But for Shangguanzhong, these attacks were like the scorn of a mantis, but they were not as arrogant as before, and they turned into a virtual shadow. Whizzing. But at this time, several fierce attacks suddenly came from all positions behind the side of the body. The speed and the ruthlessness Nangong Yi and others started directly when they reacted. During this period, the two conversations between Long Qingxia and Shangguanzhong only heard more or less. After all, everyone was thinking about protecting the clouds and killing Shangguanzhong. I'm tired of a group of flies who don't know what to do. I'll solve you today. Shangguanzhong's eyes narrowed, his arm under the black clothes suddenly waved, and his black fighting spirit turned into an invisible blade, which spread all over the sky. One of the biggest offensives is to move in the direction of cloud dance. Be careful, everyone. The Shangguan quickly called out, but he didn't want to retreat at the next moment. He quickly flashed forward, and after the whole body strength turned on the body protection, he made a strong attack on the way to the clouds. If there is really a person to sacrifice, he would rather be himself, as long as the companion behind him can be safe. Shangguanzhong looked at the unwittingly trying to resist his Shangguan, sneered. Stupid. They are both Shangguan family, but for traitors, only death. The grim cold flashed through Shangguanzhong's eyes. Then he suddenly stretched out his hand. A strange, dark cold suddenly came from all around, like falling from all over the sky. As soon as Shangguan came near, Shangguanzhong left without hesitation. Oh! I saw at that moment, the dark cold air, the undercurrent rotation, as if there were countless black blades formed by the black vortex, not close enough to crush people. And that attack, without reservation, attacked Shangguan. Poof! Shangguan's face is pale, and his body is like a broken line kite, which flies in an arc. One move, Even one move did not resist. Shengguan. Shengguan. Nangong Yi and other people's faces changed greatly, including the dragon. But in a twinkling of an eye, Shengguansong had already come, with the strange dark power. It's your turn. Whoosh whoosh. With a general attack of destruction, they attacked Nangong Iran and others. Today's war has destroyed all the beasts that have been deeply rooted for thousands of years. All the reasons are because of these ignorant boys. Although they can't kill him with their strength now, Shengguansong also feels that it is difficult. If they are allowed to grow up, I'm afraid what will happen in the future. In particular, the cloud dance and the dragon have fallen in love. It's clear that they are fighting each other, but now they are working together so harmoniously. I'm afraid the leader didn't expect this variable to happen, so it's better to solve it as soon as possible. After attacking Nangongji and others, Shengguansong directly attacked the dragon and left. If you want to solve these people, you have to break them one by one. Boy, I'll give you a ride. The gloomy voice came, accompanied by the attack of strange erosion. Long Qingxia's face was cold, staring at the Shengguansong, which was like a phantom. He suddenly put on a cold smile and said, I'm waiting for you to destroy it together. At the end of the speech, Long Qingxia suddenly made a cut on his right hand with his left hand. A few cannot smell the smell of blood, accompanied by the Shengguansong attack and spread in the air. At that moment, the dragon's eyes closed slightly, but in his mouth he read a sentence like a fantasy. I swear in the name of the young master of the evil family, that if the power of the earth can help me, I will be willing to go to hell and never regret. With each word read out, Long Qingxia obviously felt a mysterious thing in his mind. It's not a martial art. It's like something ethereal and invisible. I can't catch it, but I feel it's more and more terrible. Is this the power of the so-called evil clan? In fact, there is one thing that the dragon has never said, that is his blood. And this is what I suddenly realized when the dragon turned evil. That is, the young master of his evil family actually has a strange special ability, and this special ability needs his blood to do. However, there are both advantages and disadvantages. The cost of summoning a special ability is unimaginable. That's why he never used it all the way. What? He's sacrificing with blood? As soon as he approached Shengguansong, almost at that moment, his face fell into some kind of twisted and ferocious. Even the horror rising in his eyes could not be concealed. You sacrificed with blood. With that hoarse general roar, Shengguansong did not dare to have any hesitation, and tried his best to attack the dragon. Boom! Like a steel and stone hit the iron wall of the vibration, instantly resounded through the whole sky. Even the people on the battlefield below were almost shocked to cover their ears tightly to resist the loud noise, and some of the injured people fell to the ground with a mouthful of blood. What kind of power is needed to create such a movement? But this is just the beginning. Between heaven and earth. At this moment, it seems to vibrate suddenly, vaguely making people feel as if the earth is crying, roaring. The eerie smell of the sky began to surge up from the ground. The hum came from the earth. The sky was full of clouds, the dark clouds rolled in. The light around gradually faded down, and a strong dark dusk came. Maybe others can't see clearly, but Long Qingxia clearly felt that at the moment when the darkness came, a strange force around him began to rush into his body. As he absorbed those strange forces, he realized that something sealed in the sea seemed to begin to loosen. At that moment, there was an inexplicable feeling that when the seal in the sea of consciousness was broken, he would no longer be him. He would really and completely lose Yunwu, the love in his heart, his partner and everything he has now. So, what is it? But now he has no choice, either let the Shengguansong kill them all, or destroy them with him. He can do nothing, but he can't let that little thing happen. Absolutely not. The belief in the heart is certain. The dragon does not hesitate in any way, and immediately absorbs the power given by the surrounding earth with the most crazy posture. Under the power of the earth, Shengguansong was blocked by the invisible power. However, I don't know why, Shengguansong suddenly began to calm down, as if he suddenly had some assurance. After sitting down in the air, he stares at the dragon Qingxia wrapped by the dim power with his gloomy eyes, and follows the cloud dance who is deeply healed behind him. Long Qingxia, I seem to have forgotten to tell you something. After breathing for a while, Shangguanzhong slowly stood up and looked at the dragon who was about to finish absorbing the power of the earth. His mouth was full of ferocity. Boom! There was a sudden earthquake on the ground, and the dragon's body was also shocked. At that moment, the seal in the sea of consciousness seemed to be broken in an instant. At that moment, his brow was deeply locked. A moment is like 10,000 years. When Long Qingxia slowly opened his deep black eyes again, his eyes were very calm, as if he emptied everything inexplicably. Shangguanzhong's eyebrows wrinkled when he was looking at Shanglong's deep and peaceful black eyes, and a sense of uneasiness and strangeness rose in his heart. It's like something's out of his control. But this kind of mood he quickly put it behind him. It was just a moment. No matter how he used his cards, the dragon was still too young for him. It's true that you are the young master of the evil family, but you don't know that your blood has never really awakened. Therefore, his blood sacrifice is only the force that causes the skin of this small piece of earth. Although it started to surprise him, it was still not enough to kill him. Next, I'll send you to hell together. Shangguanzhong raised his hand, and the fierce and terrible black fighting spirit condensed again, with the power of whirlpool smashing. Long Qing's evil spirit was calm. However, he stepped forward a few steps and moved a safe distance for Yunwu. The voice was tinged with a touch of low magnetism before it rang out. Instead of talking so much nonsense, you'd better do it directly. Shangguanzhong Mao Sun One am I? Obviously some exasperation rises. The next moment. Who? The black air whirlpool was attacked by thunder like parachute. The sharp streamer from the eyes of Dragon Qingxia. The moment of the blood hole in the palm. The dark clouds in the sky, the thunder. Boom hum. The thunder flashed, the black air surged, and the two powerful forces converged in midair, spreading wave after wave of powerful power under the surging of this earth-shaking general force. The fighting in the battlefield below has already stopped, because under that force, all the people have been pale and wailing continuously, as if the spread of the residual power is enough to strangle them, and almost need their own strength to resist. However, people don't know that Yunwu, who originally thought it was just in the process of deep healing, actually woke up early. The moment Shangguan was hit by Shangguanzhong, she woke up. But her body seems to be imprisoned by something, unable to move, unable to speak, but she can clearly sense what is happening outside. Shangguan, Nangong Yi and others even, it's the dragon. It's just, what does Long Qingxia want to do? He didn't know the special constitution of Shangguanzhong. He couldn't kill Shangguanzhong without the power of the four natures, and the holy things of the sorcery family as the carrier. Did he want to sacrifice himself? The changes of the surrounding earth and the breath of darkness between heaven and earth all announce the madness of Dragon's evil behavior at this time. The inner anxiety, constantly tearing Cloud. She wants to break through the current predicament, want to fight with him side by side. The element fighting spirit in her body, in her heart anxious some unreasonable collision. But she had been injured. This kind of collision not only did not break through the bottleneck, but also affected by the afterwave of the outside world. As soon as the throat is sweet, a little pale comes to the face, and a little red blood oozes from the corner of the mouth. Damn it. What's the matter with her at this time? She is just a little healing. How can she suddenly fall into this situation at this time? Don't rush, you'll only hurt yourself more. At this time, the familiar voice came from my mind. Black Boil? Black Boil you. Hear the voice of Black Boil. Cloud dance hard a joy. Cannot wait for her to finish. Black Boil low voice came again. Don't worry, that Dragon Qingxia is not a vegetarian. What's more, his blood can't die. On the contrary, you are in trouble now. Your injured body, are you sure you can bear the old man's soberness? Hear the words of Black Boil. Cloud Dance's originally anxious heart seems to settle down for a while. How did she forget? Dragon Qing evil special. But old man? What old man? At the moment when Yunwu didn't react, the necklace on his neck suddenly felt a burning pain. And at that moment, that inexplicable familiar feeling returns again. Isn't that what she felt when she first woke up to Bai Lao? Old Bai. Ever since she stepped into the upper bound, Bai Lao, who had fallen into a deep sleep. Would he wake up? At this moment, there is a surge of joy in Yunwu's heart, the joy and peace of mind of an old friend's return. And the outside world. Shangwen's eyes were gloomy because Long Qingxi could completely resist his power, and then the black fighting spirit gathered again. I didn't expect that you could summon such power to resist before you really awakened your blood. You're really beyond my expectation, but I'm afraid it's just this one time. It's very good to mobilize the power of the earth. What's more, the dragon has not awakened the call of blood, is it? Longqing evil smell words. Evil spirit Junyi face outlined a very light radiance. The next moment, a black light flow around him. The black optical flow, without any fluctuations, did not feel any danger terrible, as if just a layer of light soft optical flow. But Shangwen's face began to change, and his face was distorted. You. However, as soon as he spoke a word, the black light around the dragon's evil body instantly condensed into black arrows. The black arrows disappeared like lightning. Shangwen's voice was stuck in his throat, and his pupils suddenly contracted. In the next moment, the black fighting spirit surges up like the sky. In the moment, it is tightly wrapped in itself. At the same time, the protective shield of fighting spirit condensation is also up. Click. At the moment when the shield was erected, countless black arrows swept out of the void like a storm and broke through the shield. Before Shangwen's could react, the black arrows had gone through the layers of protection and entered his body. Poof! With a mouthful of blood, Shangwen's body retreated at the same time, and the black fighting chi around him also became shallow and disappeared. How possible? Just rely on a boy with martial spirit strength to break his protection? How could that be? Shangwen's touched the blood hole in his chest with his palm and murmured. He saw that the black arrow on his chest had disappeared, but the wound left was too bloody to heal. How can you summon the power of the earth again, and again to hurt me before your blood is awakened? It's impossible. Seems to be accompanied by angry, Shangwen's eyes suddenly angry roar. His breath was disordered at this moment, and his face was quite pale and ferocious. It was obvious that he did not believe the situation in front of him. On the other side, Long Qingxia's eyes were fierce and cold, and his whole body was also very terrible. But only he knew that his body was about to be emptied, and his body was trembling. As I said, let's destroy together. Longqing evil hook lips sneer. You. Shangwen's ferocious face was pale, and he was about to make a violent move, but he saw that the black light was solidified on the épée in Long Qingxia's hand, and the oppressive force around him came with destruction. For the first time, Shangwen's body trembled. He was clearly immortal, but somehow, when facing the dragon in front of him, he suddenly felt the breath of death. Before that, even if they were constantly powerful and in unexpected progress, they were just the forces that could threaten his beast gate. How could they not only break his full protection, but also let him fear death from the bottom of his heart like now? However, with the strength of dragon, how did he do it? The wound on his chest is still bleeding. Shangwen's eyes are gloomy. The next moment, with a wave of his hand, the black fighting gas surges up from his body and instantly hides himself. Long Qingxia, since you don't know so much, I'll see how many times you can exert the power of the earth. I'm going to decide the fate of you in cloud dance. The sound is like an amplifying sound, and the black air becomes light in a moment, and finally becomes transparent. In the sky, dark clouds are rolling, and the dark atmosphere is wantonly around. For a moment, it is impossible to tell where Shangwen's is hidden. It seems that after 2 losses, Shangwen's also learned to be smart. He didn't believe that Long Qingxi could continuously use the power of the earth, so he used one move to hide. As soon as his eyes were cold, he held his hands tightly. You forced me. After a cold voice fell, the black light flow that had originally condensed around instantly opened in all directions like a mighty wave. In fact, Shangwen's is right. He can no longer use the power of the earth continuously. Every time he uses the power of the earth, he needs his body as a carrier. Because his strength is just the realm of martial arts, he can't bear it anymore. It seems that we can only fight for the last blow. The left hand cuts towards the center of the hand again. This time, the smell of blood is very strong and exudes. After singing again, the heaven and earth change color, and a black light falls from the sky and directly covers the dragon Qingxia. However, Long Qingxia did not know that this blood sacrifice changed his later fate, and also caused the future consequences, but it was shocking. Boom! The ground shook and the mountains rocked, and everyone's face changed greatly. Nangong Yi and others, who have been hit on the ground, are embarrassed to adjust. When they get up, they also change color because of the situation at this time. Long Qingxia hidden in the dark, Shangguanshong almost wants to roar when he discovers the dragon's evil behavior. This lunatic. Buzz. With the rapid development of society, the spiritual power between heaven and earth is mobilized and condensed in an instant, leading to the instant exhaustion of the spiritual power of the positive space. Kill. This word is deeply rooted in the heart of Long Qingxia. His eyes full of killing intention are attacked and stained by a trace of blood red. Then, the power of the Great Terror sweeps away in an instant, leaving nothing missing. The power spread at an amazing speed, and in the thunder, an embarrassed figure was forced to fly out by the terrible force. The next moment, the dragon's evil figure appeared in a flash, and the fierce épée stabbed into the embarrassed figure, and immediately added a fierce palm. Ah! With a scream, Shangguanshong was shot down like a broken bamboo. Bang! The ground trembles and the dust rises. After the dust disappears, a big pit appears in the sight of the public. I saw that the pit, which has always been high above the powerful Shangguanshong, body twisted, bloody, embarrassed, trapped in the pit, no more movement. Dead. Is he dead? At this moment, the battlefield, which was originally bloody, was so quiet that you could even hear one of them fall to the ground. Everyone's eyes were on the dragon, which was standing in the sky in the black light, and the Shangguan tomb in the big pit. As long as Shangguanshong is dead, the war will be over. Everyone was waiting. They could not help but stare at the big pit tightly. Some of them even walked into the pit to see in mid-air. Long Qingxia's face was as pale as paper. The black light over his head didn't disappear, but kept drilling into his mind. At that moment he didn't have the heart to see whether Shangguanshong was dead or not, because at this moment, with the black light drilling in, countless information was constantly wantonly in his mind. It's painful and messy, but it's more fear. How could this be? However, just when Dragon Qingxia absorbed the black light, the cloud dance on the other side was wrapped by the power of the sorcery and by Lao's awakening. But they don't know that when the two forces are too close, they produce an undercurrent, repelling each other, fighting and devouring each other. He's still alive. Shangguanshong is still alive. On the ground, suddenly, a cold voice suddenly sounded. When the sudden sound spread, the remaining evils of the beast gate suddenly like beating chicken blood, a burst of cheering. Long live Lord! On the other hand, the human side frowned, and once again raised the awareness of killing. How powerful is Shangguanshong when it falls to the ground? I'm not dead at this point. I'm not surprised. It's a lie. However, all of us have no intention of retreating. Some of us have a stronger desire to fight, because they know that if Shangguanshong is not dead, the beast gate will never be uprooted, and all the sacrifices and efforts will be in vain. Never let that happen. The sacrifice of friends and close relatives should never be wasted. Brothers, what are you doing? Kill! Kill! Chong chong! With a roar, the whole land was slaughtered, weapons intersected, blood splashed, and the dark sky was almost red by the bloody battlefield on the earth. Nangongji, praying for the night, Situlan, Mengbai, Muxioming, and even some Shangguan who could hardly get up were aroused again by the murderous battle on the battlefield. They may kill the strength of Shangguanshong, but they can peel off a layer of skin on the seriously injured Shangguanshong. Shangguan, how do you feel? Situlan is the closest to Shangguan. He looks at him and asks. Shangguan felt that his body was broken, and the blood red from the corner of his mouth stained his chest, but he didn't care about it. With a smile on his lips, a touch of resolute coldness rose from his eyes. I can't die. Since you can't die, do something. A word of depression fell, but Situlan's body flashed at the fastest speed. The long sword flashed across the bloody battlefield, reaching the Shangguan tomb which was standing up slowly from the pit. On the other side, Nangong Yi sees this, and his pretty pale face raises a corner of radiance. As the silver light flashes by, his figure disappears in the same place. It's crazy. With a smile, Mengbai was unwilling to fall behind, and a flash of the same attack. I'll stay with you to the end. Prey Knight has always been cold and beautiful face also smile. The ice-cooling eyes stained with Beichuan General Frost, snake sword out, shadow followed by a flash of mirage. This kind of advantage, how can I not share it? The moment that Mu Xiaoming arouses the elements, the figure also takes action very quickly. 5 figures, 5 do their best to attack, from the 4 sides aimed at the Shangguan's Hong. Haha. Broken bones in the forced Qiao Zheng's voice, clattering from the bloodstained Shangguan's Hong body to upload. At this time his hair spread, head down, can't see what he is at this time. However, the attack of Nangong Yi and others came without reservation. Hiss. Thorn. 5 attacks, all into the attack, in Shangguan's Hong that blood-stained broken body, blood splashing out. While Shangguan drew out his sword he waved it again. This time, it was aimed at Shangguan's Hong's neck. Shangguan's Hong's physique is special. I'm afraid that the wounds on his body will not kill him. It's better to cut off his neck. Chong! A dull sound of weapon breaking. At this moment, Shangguan's face suddenly changed. He cut off Shangguan's Hong's sword and broke it in the middle of the way. Then a fierce black fighting spirit suddenly hit him. He didn't even have the chance to react, so his body was shot out again. Poof! Nangong Yi's face turned white, and subconsciously wanted to evacuate from Shangguan's Hong immediately. But it's late. His body couldn't move under the black fighting spirit. What's more, the fighting spirit in their body was being absorbed by him madly at this time. Shangguan's Hong slowly raised his head from his hair, and when his face and facial features appeared in front of the crowd he gasped. At this time, Shangguan's Hong's face was covered with blood. An eye socket was completely stabbed into a big pit, the flesh on his cheek was also bloody, and the bridge of his nose seemed to be broken when he was attacked, and it was tilted to one side, not to mention shocking. But Shangguan's Hong laughed. Ha ha ha. Ferocious arrogant general loud laugh. The plot is full of shock. Is that Shangguan's Hong human or not? Why can't you kill me? When the laughter stopped, Shangguan's Hong raised his head ferociously and looked straight at the 2 figures in the air. I am immortal. It's a fool's dream to want to kill me. You dare to force me to this position. I will use your friends to sacrifice and let the world bury me for what you have done. With a wave of his hand, the black fighting spirit rose. However, this time, the black fighting spirit was connected with the earth, and an old and manic array flashed from the ground. At the moment when the array appeared, the earth trembled. Boom. The dark clouds between heaven and earth are more and more dense, and an indescribable sense of oppression is forcing everyone on the earth. Nangong Yi and others are extremely pale, and their spiritual strength and fighting spirit are rapidly losing, and their breathing is gradually difficult. They want to resist, but they find that they can't move at all. As for Shangguan, this time he almost felt that he couldn't hold on, and all his internal organs seemed to be broken. However, looking at the situation of Nangong Yi's 4 at this time, he almost gritted his teeth and roared, trying to get up from the ground. Let them go, let them go. Now, whoosh. By Qing Shui, Gao Yuling Xiantian, and even Yun Lingyi and Yun Qi are among them. Several figures rushed to them. Damn it, when you see the Nangong Yi and others who are wrapped by the black fighting spirit, their eyes are cold, and they attack Shangguan's Hong without thinking about it. But, ignorant mortals who don't know how to live or die. Puff, puff, puff. Several attack figures were not close to Shangguan's Hong. They were directly shot out. But it's just the beginning. Just after Yunqi, Biking Shui and others were shot out, many figures came quickly. Will come too. I don't believe it. So many of us can't destroy a Shangguan's Hong. Kill. Sword light, sword shadow. Attack set off toward the official grave. However, for Shangguan's Hong, it was just like an ant. It did not pose any threat to him, nor could it stop him from calling the extermination array. but those who came to attack Shangguanzhong in the future. Batch after batch. Working together, tacit understanding unceasingly. At this moment, all people do not care about their own life and death, just want to get rid of the biggest cancer in front of them. And such a scene is also very amazing. In midair, with the continuous penetration of black light, Dragon Qingxia gets more and more information, and the spiritual power of his body is gradually recovering. But the dragon can't wait to absorb the light of those days, can't wait to digest the information in his mind, also don't have the interest to wake up and become another person. All he knew was that all his companions were at stake. And Cloud Dance on the other side. The heart is also extremely anxious, but she still can't move. Last time, it didn't take him so long to wake up. This time, why did it take so long? Damn it. Boom. There was a tremor on the ground, and the ancient calling array was about to be completed. A touch of excitement flashed in Shangguanzhong's eyes. It's fast, it's going to wipe out all these hateful mortals. The light of the array is more and more obvious, and the ancient totem is also clearly flashing. Just for a short time, the array will be free, and Nangongyi and others will be called out completely. But at this time, in the sky, a roar broke out. I saw that Dragon Qingxia, who was still shrouded in black light, suddenly broke through the shrouded black light, and went straight to the ground where the light was more and more obvious. Shangguanzhong. At this time, the eyes of Dragon Qingxia are golden, and the breath on his body has also changed into gloomy darkness. Haunted guy, but you can't stop it. Shangguanzhong stares at the dragon falling from the sky. His face is gloomy and his fighting spirit is more and more powerful, which speeds up the black fighting spirit of the array. The ape came out and used all his strength to cut down the black array. Boom. Such as thunder came into the world, loud sound. Resounding through the sky, the power of the afterwave spread and open. All around, the people who wanted to break through the external protection of the array were also rushing forward. Under the strong aftershock, they almost vomited blood at the beginning. It's too strong. Even if thousands or tens of thousands of them add up, they are not rivals. Long Qingxia's face was very ugly when he saw that the array had not been broken. In particular, he saw that Nangongyi and others' faces had turned blue and white, and the array was getting brighter and brighter. It was obvious that the extinction array was about to be formed. But this time, it's too late for the dragon to pour evil even if it's a blood sacrifice. Long Qingxia, use my blood to break the battle. At this time, Shangguan Mianxiang got up from the ground and cried out to the dragon. When Shangguanzhong started the battle, he was shot out of the array again and again because he was also the blood of Shangguan family. Every generation of Shangguan family, only when they become the leader of the beast sect, can they have special blood power. This is the law. He doesn't know how it came into being. However, Shangguan knew that he was the future successor of the Beast Gate, and he also had a special power in his blood. But at the beginning he didn't want to be that kind of person, and he didn't want to be a tool bound by fate, so he wanted to escape from this so-called regular life. But now he is willing to accept the so-called inheritance, the so-called destiny. He couldn't watch his companions, the people he cared about, died again and again. Therefore he is willing to accept fate, even at the sacrifice. The blood of Shangguan family, once the heir accepts this fate, even if he does not inherit the patriarchal position, he has not really awakened, but his blood will have a certain effect. Maybe there's no way to fight against Shangguanzhong, who is still the patriarch, but there are still some blood conflicts. At this time, the array launched by Shangguanzhong with his own blood will surely have an effect. After hearing what Shangguan said, Long Qingxia's face changed a little, because he had so much information in his mind that he already understood what it was, what Shangguan said, and what he was prepared to sacrifice. But at this moment, he was not given much time to think. If Shangguanzhong array becomes a success, not to mention Nangongyi and others, even the whole world will be destroyed. So the next moment he brushed his hand, a black light instantly wrapped in Shangguan. At that moment, Shangguan's pale face turned white, his body soared in the air, and the blood sprayed out, and all the blood was in the black light. Throw me there. Shengguan hurdles the dragon to pour evil direction, difficultly spit out 5 words. Dragon Qingxia clenched his fist, and his golden eyes passed a faint shade of forbearance. After a slight nod, he brushed his hand void. The Shengguan in the black light immediately attacked the array that was about to bloom. Shengguan. At that moment, the clouds in midair almost couldn't help roaring. Did you sacrifice Shengguan again? Why, it's not enough to just kill a Shengguansong and sacrifice so many people. And now we have to continue to sacrifice. The bottom of my heart can't help but a wave of anger rises. But it's more the rage I feel when I can't do anything now. Bai Lao at the bottom of my heart. Cloud Dance roars in anger. Chaos Shop Black Boil, but Side shook his head. To break the Shengguan family from the destruction of the array, only their Shengguan family blood can be broken. And Shengguan obviously knows that. But now she can't do anything well. Poof, after a dull sound, spray blood spatter, Shengguan face blood, but the corner of the mouth raised a touch of radiance. Sacrifice. For the life and death partner, for her he is willing. As soon as the blood from Shengguan's body entered the array, the light of the array, which had been clearly blooming, seemed to encounter some kind of dark cover, and countless streamers suddenly rioted. Shengguan. When Shengguansong saw Shengguan breaking the battle with himself, his face was ugly and ferocious. Their Shengguan family was destroyed because of this traitor. I should have killed him in the first place. But now it's too late. Boom. The light of the array was transformed by the riot, and suddenly the earth burst open in an earthquake. The position of Shengguansong tore several cracks on the ground all around. The array is broken, and the Shengguan, who was wrapped in black light, had been shot away without breath. Nangong Yi Night Praying, Meng Bai and Mu Xiaoming were also swept away with the burst. Dragon Qingxia transfers the spirit power. In an instant, he feels that the power of darkness around him is gathering wildly. In the next second, he turns into a shadow and attacks Shengguansong. Bang! The pit is here again. Shengguansong couldn't dodge, and his body was hard hit into the ground, a piece of scorched earth all around. Kaka! It was the clatter of the head again. Ha Long Qingxia, you said how stupid you are. I have said that you can't kill me at this time. Shengguansong's voice was as ferocious as a duck, but his words were full of pride. Yes. Then I'll chop you up. The golden eyes of Dragon Qingxia suddenly burst out a surprising black light. The black light was frozen in the air, accompanied by the heavy sword. As soon as his attack fell, Shengguansong's pupils shrank, his black fighting burst out, and his figure turned into a shadow. You can't escape. As soon as the figure of Shengguansong retreated, the space behind him was distorted by something, which completely blocked his way back. Dragon Qingxia's figure flashed like a ghost, and his other hand 5 fingers clenched. With his grip, the surrounding space began to twist, and the strong pressure came close, making Shengguansong unable to retreat. Then a blow suddenly blew out, hit heavily on the abdomen of Shengguansong. The body of Shengguansong flies out. Shengguansong didn't expect that the dragon's evil had reached this point, distorting the space? How can he achieve such excellent skills? At the moment when Shengguansong's body flew out, the dragon's evil figure flashed again. And then the ape fell into the air. Ho-ho. The roar is like thunder and lightning. A terrible black light came out and said hello to Shengguansong. The black fighting spirit that used to protect him was directly smashed by the overwhelming posture. Shwa. With a scream, I saw Shengguansong's arms separated from his body, and the blood-splashing scene was inspiring. But this is just the beginning. And then, before Shengguansong's body fell to the ground, the dragon's evil figure flashed quickly again, and the saber flashed by, and the sword was chopped down again in the void. Poof. The sword goes into the flesh, the arms fall, the blood splashes once again when the figure of Shengguansong was blown to the ground. His arms and legs had been separated. After a mouthful of old blood gushed out, he almost planted it in the pit. It's a bloody scene. However, this sword holder has a cold face with golden eyes and a strong sense of killing. But the only difference is that his breath will become more and more dark every time he uses force, and the dark power gathered on his body will become more and more strong. It's like he didn't use his own strength once, his strength was more and more improved, and the emotion in his golden eyes was more and more indifferent. This may not have been noticed by Long Qingxia, because in his heart he had only one idea: to kill Shangguanzhong. But in the middle of the sky, the clouds are still in the air, but I feel the more and more dangerous dark breath, as if some kind of uneasiness is growing. It's like, in this way, what we want in the end will be lost. Hayo, find a way to help me out of the present predicament. Hayo shook his head. No way, I still have a contractual relationship with you. You are trapped now and I can't do anything. However, the old man seems to lack something, so he hasn't broken through and sobered up. What's missing? What is lacking? Cloud Dance constantly recalled the process of Bai Lao's soberness, but she didn't do anything special at the beginning. However, the dragon is on the evil side. Shangguanzhong can't describe himself now. Although he is immortal, it doesn't mean that his body can be invulnerable. When his hands and feet were cut off, he was lying on the ground with a bloody trunk. The pain made his face more ferocious, but the horror in his eyes had gradually subsided. He watched the dragon falling to the ground like a murderer, holding an épée in his hand, staring at him with cold golden eyes, looking at the more and more dark breath of him. Suddenly he laughed again, the kind of laughing. Haha. But Shangguanzhong's sudden laughter didn't make Long Qingxia's mood fluctuate much. The golden eyes were still cold, and the blood on the épée dropped drop by drop, and approached step by step. Long Qingxia, do you know what you look like now? Although Shangguanzhong was in a cold sweat because he lost his hands and feet, when he calmed down he was not afraid. Because his immortal body, even if the dragon Qingxia chopped his body, he still can't die, and his body can grow back bit by bit. What else is he afraid of? Even if Long Qingxia is awakening the consciousness and ability of the young master of his evil clan, he still can't kill him. This is his chip. Dragon Qing evil approached, golden eyes black light flash, hand épée raised, body black light full bloom. Buzz. The épée roared sharply. The next moment, mercilessly toward that as the meat on the display board of Shangguanzhong trunk cut down. Poof, the blood spatters again. Shangguanzhong's face almost shifted because of the ferocious pain, but his duck-like voice still laughed and said, "You didn't find that. You are just like a tool to kill people now." But unfortunately, no matter how you chop me up, you still can't kill me, haha. However, when you chop me, you can't be a human being, because my blood and your blood are about to wake up. At that time, you will never be able to get rid of your destiny, never be a human being, and you will never be able to be with her, haha. Young master of the evil clan, have you fallen in love with the holy daughter of the witch clan? Interesting, so interesting. Thinking of this, Shangguanzhong felt that the pain on his body seemed to have disappeared for more than half, and his mood was inexplicably happy, and the laughter was more and more comfortable. Dragon Qingxia's heart suddenly trembled, and there was a flash of anger in his golden eyes. He squeezed and waved his sword hand tightly, and cut it down at Shangguanzhong's neck. He didn't believe it. Poof! The blood splashed on the beautiful face of Long Qingxia. At that moment, the power of darkness around him surged into his body again. The dragon's evil golden eyes flashed a trace of pain, and he immediately forced to exclude the penetration of the power of darkness. But can't stop. How could that be? Is what Shangguanzhong said true? The information in his mind once again penetrated into his mind, and the innate information about the evil minority master was gradually consumed. Long Qingxia's pupils narrowed, and looked up at the direction of Cloud Dance. Almost at the same time, he immediately closed his own power, and refused the dark power around him to enter his body. Really? Is what Shangguanzhong said true? It turns out that this Shangguan family was not formed without words or reasons, and everything was premeditated for thousands of years. In addition to being in charge of the dark forces in the human world, the Shangguan family also shoulders the task of awakening the young masters of evil families born in the human world. As for why this kind of war was caused in the end, it seems that Long Qingxia has figured out something at this moment. All for him? There is a lot of information in the mind, but every time the dragon's evil digestion, the more frightened and cold the inner waves. At this time, his golden eyes couldn't help staring at the clouds in the air, and his body was very tense because he forced to prevent the dark force in the air. However, it seems that the dark and fierce atmosphere on the body is more and more intense. But in Shangwenzhong's eyes, this scene seemed to amuse him, and said with a sarcastic hoarse smile, "At this time, if you want to stop your awakening, will you be a little late? Aha Long Qingxie, do you know that you are very pitiful? To put it mildly, you are the young master of the mysterious evil clan. But in my eyes, you are just a poor creature in the hand of fate. Haha." Shangwenzhong's words are like deliberately trying to stimulate the dragon to pour out evil and cause his final outbreak. To tell you the truth, Long Qingxie's intention to kill is on the verge of breaking out. He wants to use Shangwenzhong's blood sacrifice to sacrifice all the people who died and all the people who were killed by him, and use Shangwenzhong's life to end the killing storm in the human world. However, if he breaks out again, I'm afraid that the blood in his body will really wake up, and if he does, I'm afraid that therefore, he tried his best to bear the killing intention in his heart, and tried to stop the bloodthirsty momentum in his blood. Most importantly, he must stop the dark force constantly penetrating into the air. I don't know why, after he had sacrificed his blood, the power of darkness around him kept drilling into his body. At first he thought that it was because he called the power of the earth. He didn't refuse the dark power that the energy source poured into his body. He even became the spiritual support for his attacks on Shangwenzhong again and again. But at this time, he digested the information in his mind. When he knew what the reason was, his inexplicable fear and rejection rose. He doesn't need to awaken the blood of any evil minority, and he can't awaken at all. After the firm determination in his heart fell, Long Qingxie suddenly fell down and immediately sat on the ground cross-legged, ignoring the trunk of Shangwenzhong and Qi Dantian beside him. He immediately sealed up his own power in his body, and then strongly refused the dark power that still wanted to get into his body. But sometimes, if you know it's not feasible, you still have to stop it, even if you will fight for your own life. Because he can't lose her, really can't at this time. Even the trunk is not very neat. Shangwenzhong, the long face of terror with one eye staring at Dragon Qingxie, pain flashing with irony and inexplicable smile. You can't stop it. For the sake of the common people in the world, accept your destiny. Accept one's fate? When Long Qingxie heard the last three words, he began to smile, because he thought of his woman. At the beginning, he seemed to have told her the word recognize life. But the little woman said that she never knew what kind of life was. Life was her own, and the power was only in her own hands. She also knew herself. His women can be so domineering. Is he a big man? Don't you think it's funny? He is a young master of the evil family. He is never rare. All the people in the world. Without her, is it none of his business? As Long Qingxie's mind changed, and as he thought of Cloud Dance, his cold heart gradually warmed. His cold golden eyes gradually turned back to black, and his anger began to fade. The power of darkness all around seems to be unable to find the entrance to drill in this change. Shangwenzhong is to see in the eye. The heart set off the horror is absolute. He didn't expect that he would be short of a kick. According to the natural blood in the body of Long Qingxie, if he was stimulated by him, how could he still bear it? But unexpectedly, this dragon not only didn't take the last hit under his words, but also could take off his anger of killing and return to the Numenon? What the hell is going on? Since ancient times, this kind of situation has never happened. You should know that the evil clan is not a group that ordinary people can understand. It's a dark extreme. For killing, it's natural. But at this time, the dragon is evil. Looking at Long Qingxie's deep black pupil, Shangwenzhong's face was distorted again. He was angry in his heart, but there was no place to send his anger. You. But before Shangwenzhong said a word, there was a burst of thunder in the sky. At first, I thought it was the movement of the clouds in the air, but when the living people looked up at the sky, their brows were subconsciously wrinkled. Because originally, the dark power of the people who came to the official tomb was fought by Dragon Qingxie, which caused the gloomy sky. At this time, suddenly from a certain distance, there were layers of thunder and lightning clouds. Why do you say roll over? Because most of the sky is like a big wave rushing towards the coast, and the pressure is far more powerful than that exerted by the dragon. As you can see, this thunderstorm can never be just a simple thunderstorm. In midair, the cloud dance, which was unable to play passively, also sensed the strange breath coming from the extreme speed. However, without waiting for Yunwu to speak from the bottom of his heart, Black Boil's inexplicable low voice came to his mind. The blood of dragon's evil spirit may be forced to awaken, little girl. Once his blood is awakened, he may disappear. In fact, what he said was conservative, and he did not directly say that the situation between the two people would be completely extreme. What do you mean? I don't know why, but my heart is tight. I didn't wait for Hayo to speak again. Boom. The thunder between heaven and earth is so terrible that it can shake the earth. Even the cloud dance in the mid-air was shaken by the thunder, the eardrum tingled, and the viscera were about to move, but on the ground that miserable Shangwen's hung, that ferocious one eye suddenly brightened, just barely surprised to jump up. Coming. On the contrary, it is the dragon that pours evil. At the moment of the thunder, Long Qingxia's face changed. His body, which was originally sitting on the ground, jumped up in an instant and just formed an instinct to escape. His body was as rigid as if it had been imprisoned by something. Then there was no chance for the dragon to react. Instantly, everyone saw that the thundercloud had dropped a black light column, covering the area within 10 meters, including the Shangguan tomb. At that moment, all the forces of darkness in the air seemed to be emptied and gathered into the black light. He was like a sponge put into the water, absorbing the power of darkness crazily. He had already recovered his black eyes, but he gradually had a kind of change to gold. He was infected again by his murderous anger. Long Qingxia's face turned white. His body was fighting against the dark force which was driving him into his body, but he couldn't stop it, and the bloody Shangwen's hung in the black light, wrapped by the black light, grows with amazing speed. Finally, even the long and terrible face and the eyes are recovering. This scene made everyone's face change greatly, and made everyone feel very thrilled. Except for Yunwu, who has not moved since he was injured. Other people are almost dead. Now even the dragon boss has become such a situation. A sense of horror that can't kill a person in any case. A sense of despair that seems to never see hope, gradually fills every human warrior's heart. Haha, foolish human beings, I have come back. This time, I want you to be buried here in blood one by one. At this time, Shangguan's Hong's roar of laughter spread like a demon. It's a drop. The Shangguan boat with only a broken trunk was cut down before the Ming dynasty. It didn't even exist for 3 minutes under the black light. The body grew out completely. Only the upper body can't cover the body, but absolutely standing on the ground with 2 feet alone. That pair of black eyes looking at the mess around a living human soldiers. The black light has not disappeared, because the dragon is still resisting the resistance and absorption. But Shangguan's Hong didn't need to absorb the power of darkness, so he walked out of the black light, and looked down at the wounded soldier with scorn and sarcasm. There are not many remaining members of the 10,000 Beast sect left, but they are different from those human warriors who are scared and desperate. Their heart is joyful and excited, but they almost didn't shout "Long live the Lord" again. Because although the human soldiers sacrificed a lot, this time they almost united the human world with the upper world or even other people. At this time there were still half of them. They were afraid that they would be killed by these crazy and stupid human beings before their patriarch could make a move. Of course, I will also give you a chance. As long as any of you is willing to submit to the Beast Gate, I will spare your life. Today's Beast Gate, whether its branch or headquarters, has almost been destroyed. It would be good if these soldiers from all walks of life could come back and make up for the number. At this time, Shangguan's Hong is in a very good mood, as if at this moment is a counterattack of his complete victory. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.